Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. Start with one-click enhancement. Chapter 21. On an island, Urana and the others fled here in one breath, and after confirming that there were no chasing soldiers, they stopped to rest. Really walked away from the ghost gate. Urana leaned directly on the tree, trying to gasp out all her lungs and swallow the air. He felt smoke in his throat and his chest was about to explode. Hey, but not to mention it, it's exciting. Only Urana still talks freely. In the past, Urana's behavior would definitely be reprimanded. But today, everyone's mission can be successful, he has half the credit. It can be said to be a great hero, everyone is only grateful to him, and completely ignores his behavior. The eagle and the white wolf looked at Urana with extremely firm eyes. They won't be behind all the time, definitely. This time they are not as good as Urana, but next time, they will definitely not. A day later, the people like refugees returned to Kurigakure. Brought back this piece of medical information that is of great significance to Kurigakure. Naturally, Urana's excellent performance and amazing record also spread among Kurigakure. Everyone was directly shocked. He escaped twice from the copy of the ninja Hitachi Kakashi, and was tied with the geniuses of the Uchiha clan. In addition, he also killed 2 special Jonin level and several Chunin level enemies. That's fine, after all, it's already outrageous. Even the Jonin in the village do not necessarily have his terrifying record. But he actually delayed the necessary time for the success of the task to ensure the smooth completion of the task. Is this really what a 12-year-old can do? The magic makes people feel a little unbelievable. But 2 days later, a message from Konoha convinced everyone. If you encounter Kurigakure's white cold light, please get rid of this person. This person is very threatening, you must not let him grow up. Konoha's personal approval is more convincing than anything else. Not to mention, Urana's head reward also landed on the black market list, worth 30 million taels. At this moment, Urana became completely famous and famous in the world of ninja. White cold light, hell, I don't know who is better than the golden glitter of the year. Kurigakure has been closed for so many years, and an enchantment appeared without a word. I really can't underestimate it. Will there be a second white cold light? It seems necessary to strengthen Kurigakure's vigilance. The 5 ninja villages and even the entire ninja world suddenly changed their strategy for Kurigakure. From the previous forgotten, wait-and-see change to active monitoring. Intelligence is always a very important strategic material and indispensable. Konoha Village. What is the origin of this white cold light? How can Kurigakure suddenly appear such a monster? Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen looked out the window sharply and murmured. He feels a little uneasy. Obviously the strength is close to Jonin's level, but he can fight against Kakashi's attack twice. His speed and agility are too high. And the mist shinobi technique that even Uchiha Itachi feels tricky, and the illusion that Sharingan can't rebound. And the water barrier that can withstand Kakashi Reikiri, how did he do it? If all this was done by a character of his level, he would naturally not find it strange. But the point is, Urana is only a teenager, and his strength is only approaching Jonin's level. This is just as magical as if it is turned on, and the ninjutsu attainments are too high. It's unheard of to use low-level ninjutsu against high-level ninjutsu. His enchanting level, I am afraid that Uchiha Itachi has never seen it like this. Third Hokage said with emotion. For the first time, he saw Uchiha Itachi deflated on the hands of his peers. This was completely unthinkable before. He still remembers the complete surprise in the eyes of Kakashi and Uchiha Itachi when reporting. There are not many things that can surprise these 2 geniuses so much. And Urana did it. Not only did these 2 geniuses startle and deflate, but they also succeeded in getting the medical information back from the Wu Renren. A series of terrifying records is enough to make people look up to despair. Ordinary people may never have such a wonderful experience in their entire lives, but this is just a mission for Urana. Kurigakure, it's getting more and more out of my expectations, Urana. In that case, this task is up to you. In Mizukage's office, Yagura's eyes were shining brightly. In front of him, there was an unfolded scroll with the words, Infiltrating Cloud Shinobi Village Plan. If Urana knew that Yagura was going to let him sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village, he would probably scold his mother. You can do this kind of thing too, sorry. I just made such a great contribution, so you let me go through fire and water again, wandering on the tip of a knife, don't my face blush? Unfortunately, he didn't know. He now looked at the three people in front of him, raised his eyebrows and said, what do the three of you want to do? In front of him, Ringo Yuyuri, Guidang Shuiyu, and Shima Izshin were looking at him with fierce eyes. Your Honor, have a match with us, let us see how big the gap is between ourselves and you. Ringo Yuyuri said, but her tone was not as sharp as the last time, but she seemed a little urgent. The three of Ringo Yuyuri never expected it. I thought that Your Honor had already been heaven-defying to kill an A-rank rebel Yuguchi Mitsuda, and it was enough for them to chase after. However, before they could catch up, Your Honor was already able to fight Jonin. In addition, the direction of the mission has become famous in the world of ninja. The huge gap that came suddenly made them breathless, and they couldn't see the hope of catching up. Therefore, she just wants to determine how strong Your Honor is, so that she can make plans for the next step. Are you sure? I don't know how to make the move. Don't blame me if it hurts you then. Your Honor was so free to say that he had just come back to take a bath, and he was quarreled by Ringo Yuyuri and the others. How easy is he? It doesn't matter, you just use your full strength. What I want is the real gap. Ringo Yuyuri said without hesitation. Ghost Dang Shuiyu also had the same expression. In that case, let's go. This is the end of the matter, what else does Your Honor have to say? See the real chapter under her hand. Have you heard, Ringo Yuyuri is going to challenge Your Honor, do you want to check it out? Huh, there is such a good thing. Go, hurry up. How can this kind of thing fall? As soon as the idle Wujinmen heard about this good thing, they immediately got together to watch the excitement. Yaranav's Ringo Yuyuri. It's a bit interesting, just take the time to check it out. Loquat Shazang grinned in a low voice. Naturally, Black Ho Thunderfang would never be absent from this scene if he didn't cut it. Somewhere in the training ground. Unexpectedly, there were so many people here. This kind of high-profile feeling is like being watched by a monkey, which is really uncomfortable. He quite dislikes this atmosphere. Then, he looked at Ringo Yuyuri and the three of them, and said, which one of you will go first? He looked indifferent and didn't pay attention to the three of them at all. Let me do it. Ringo Yuyuri took a step forward, clasping the double-edged road. Then it will begin. After that, when he saw him, he rushed to Ringo Yuyuri in an instant. His eyes widened and said, illusory technique, golden binding technique. Ringo Yuyuri was struck helplessly. Then, Urana's cold long blade was placed on Ringo Yuyuri's neck. You lose. Urana dismissed the illusion, and looked at Ringo Yuyuri calmly. Ringo Yuyuri cursed unwillingly, and said in his heart, is the gap already so big? The graduation exam is only over half a month. But half a month ago, Urana wanted to control her and had to work hard. But now, it's not a little bit of effort. Is the speed at which Urana becomes stronger in seconds. Who is the next? Urana glanced at Guidang Shuiyu and Shima Izshin and asked. I'm coming. Don't think you can easily defeat me. Guidang Shuiyu provocatively said. He dares to be so mad, of course he has the capital. The hydration technique of the Ghost Lantern clan is alone in the ninja world. Without restraint skills, it is difficult to touch his entity, let alone defeat him. So, I'll start. After the two were ready, Urana stared at Guidang Shuiyu. Plan to repeat the old tricks. Guidang Shuiyu immediately closed his eyes, then quit and said proudly, don't think that you can succeed twice with this kind of trick. But, when did I say that I would use illusion to win? When the cold touch on the neck came with Urana's voice. Only then did Guidang Shuiyu react, and he was hit by Urana's slamming plan. You lost. Urana put down the blade and grinned. Cut. Guidang Shuiyu's face was quite ugly and withdrew. The big talk just now was so loud, but in the end he was slapped in the face, and this person was a bit lost. Moreover, it was really unwilling to be killed by a spike before he showed his ability. The scene that the surrounding mist saw was also cheered. Use illusion to kill Ringo Yuyuri in seconds, and use tactics to kill Ghost Dang Shuiyu in seconds. This kind of thing, only Urana among her peers can do it. And it's still so prosperous, easy and freehand. It's an evil behavior. Then, you are the only one left. Urana's eyes fell on the last person, Shima Izshin, and said. Please advise. Shima Izshin bowed to Urana quite politely, then drew his sword and stood up. You are welcome. After that, Urana's eyes stunned, and she rushed to him immediately. Water-style water barrier. Facing the rushing Urana, Shima Izshin quickly released the water wall to block in front of him. I actually stepped back quickly, and closed the seal again, water-style. However, without waiting for him to release ninjutsu, the water barrier was slashed open by Urana. Hiss. At this moment, not to mention that Shima Izshin was shocked, maybe even the misty ninjas around him were shocked. Knife cleavage ninjutsu, this is too heaven-defying. In the face of this kind of enemy, it is inexplicably hopeless. Water-style water gun technique. Shima Izshin barely saw Urana Kijin, and the two extremely high-speed water bombs that he saw came lashing out, making him evade quickly. Puff puff. The big tree behind him suddenly exploded two big holes, which made him call for danger. Careful, but at this moment, the exclamation of the mist ninjas came from his ears. Shima Izshin was taken aback, only to realize that Urana's face had been rapidly enlarged in his pupils. Puff. Before he could react, he took a heavy blow in the chest, making him fly out like a broken kite. When he just got up from the ground, a white blade emitting a cold light was already erected in front of him. Still the familiar words, "You lost." Completely suppressed by strength, there is no feeling of difficulty at all. Seeing this, the surrounding Wurin couldn't help but talk. It's the one who fought against Hitachi Kakashi. The strength is far surpassed by others of the same generation. Yes, they are not at the same level at all, the strength gap between them is really too big. It's worthy of being called the white cold light, it's so powerful that it makes people breathless. Not to mention Ringo Yuyuri and the others, the Urana's predecessors all felt the tremendous pressure. With such a monster chasing behind him, it really makes people afraid to stop. If I haven't seen him for a few days, his strength has become stronger again. He is really a heaven-defying kid. Don't look at Urana again, thinking like this in his heart. What a fast speed of Jia Yin. I'm afraid I will be in a hurry when I face it. Facing such an enemy is really frightening. Loquat Shizang squinted and said with emotion in his heart. The rest of Wu Ren, the thoughts in their hearts were also different, and then they all left. Since this day, the name of Urana, Kurigakure's young first person, has been confirmed. Even if Urana herself does not have a cold title. As the young first person. Ha, it's Xiao Yi, really amazing. In the prison, when Terumi Mei heard the news, she smiled happily. Everything slowly returns to normal. There are always so many things about Anbu. Even if there is no task, there is the duty of guarding the village. Report every day, and then accept unified deployment to perform various monitoring tasks in the village. Then, the organization learns various Anbu skills, including first aid, finding food, tactical analysis, and so on. The life is quite fulfilling. Although there is no time to swing the sword to earn strengthening points, Urana is quite happy in it. His current strength is considered okay, and there is no harm in delaying it for a while. A month passed in a blink of an eye. Terumi Mei was released from prison, and Urana personally went to greet her. How about it, sister, or the air outside is fresher? The sky is so blue, and the grass is so emerald green. Although Kurigakure is rainy all year round, it is shrouded in fog. But it does not mean that there is no clear sky. Even God is welcoming me out of prison. Giggle, what a good day. Terumi Mei said with a comfortable face that she had been in jail for a month. Although she lived well in it, she still looked a little haggard. No matter how good life is in prison, it still can't compare to the outside. I heard that you killed several A-level ninjas again. Not bad, Xiao Yi. In a blink of an eye he became a famous celebrity in the world of ninja. In a tavern, Terumi Mei drank red face and joked to Urana, who took a sip of juice. Hey, these are all idiots who want to take my head. The strength is not good, but each sticks to me like flies. I'm going to be annoying. Urana said with a distressed expression. Of course, those ninjas are naturally not as weak as Urana said, and some have put Urana in a hard fight. It's just that those people are dead now, and Urana naturally wants to say, just say. Hee, dare to say that the A-level ninja is not very strong, and you are the only one. Terumi Mei couldn't help laughing again after hearing it, the sound was like a silver bell, and it was pleasant to the ear. The charming appearance made the ninjas around him a little restless. But thinking of Terumi Mei's prestige, they can only be restless, and dare not act at all. Terumi Mei, just be happy. Soon, I will make you never happy again. In a certain room, Yuan Long looked at the scroll in front of him, his eyes were extremely stern. On the first line of the scroll, it says, "Dive into Cloud Shinobi Village Plan." And at the end of the scroll, the most suitable executor column is the name of Urana. Terumi Mei, this time I also want to let you experience the feeling of heartache. Urana, just give me an honest burial at Cloud Shinobi Village. When he received this task from Mizukage, he filled in Urana's name without even thinking about it. Because there is really no more suitable candidate than him. Even if Terumi Mei wanted to object, she couldn't find any reason. It's perfect. Moreover, he has cleared the elders, and this resolution cannot be rejected. It's useless for Terumi Mei to go crazy. The next day. What? Let Urana do this kind of task? Are you crazy? He has just graduated in less than a month. There are more suitable candidates than him. Why is it he? As a member of the elders, Terumi Mei objected immediately when he heard that the person who had sneaked into Cloud Shinobi Village was Urana. Then, he looked at Yuanlong, and a cold murderous voice flashed through the phoenix eyes. Yuanlong, it is too obvious for you to avenge your private revenge. Hearing this, Yuanlong couldn't help but sneered. Terumi Mei, stop pour me with dirty water. I just asked for a place according to Master Mizukage's instructions. As for the coincidence that it is Urana, I can't help it. His strength, courage and wisdom are all quite suitable for this task. Furthermore, Terumi Mei, even if you object, you still have a reason for objection and a suitable candidate. Otherwise, I have the right to ignore any of your statements. In other places, Yuanlong may not be able to keep his word. But in the group of elders, he is absolutely number one and has absolute authority. Terumi Mei was speechless for a while, because what Yuanlong said really made sense. No way, who makes Urana so good? And she had just come out of prison, and she was still not sure about the specific situation and where there were suitable candidates. Since there is no opinion, then vote. Mizukage-sama is still waiting for me to reply. After seeing Terumi Mei deflated, Yuanlong smiled triumphantly, his face full of joy. As for voting, Yuanlong had already said hello. How could Terumi Mei have the chance to win? 3-9, all defeated. I protest, Master Mizukage will never pass so easily. Terumi Mei waved away angrily, looking for Mizukage Yagura to dismiss the request. But the result can be imagined. If it is a normal Yagura, I will probably consider it. But Uchiha Obito wanted to provoke Terumi Mei's resentment towards Mizukage. How could he dismiss this suggestion and directly agreed? Terumi Mei returned with an extremely gloomy face. Seeing Yuanlong's triumphant appearance, she couldn't wait to twist his head off and kick the ball. What? Let me go to Cloud Shinobi Village as an undercover agent. When Urana knew about this, he just wanted to say, as everyone knows, grass is a kind of plant. What a joke. Let him be an undercover man who has just graduated and has no undercover experience. What's the difference between this and asking him to die? If you want to get rid of him, just say it directly, why bother to make mistakes? However, the order of Mizukage has been issued. Take Urana into the Anbu secret code class to study, and then sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village to perform the task. How can Master Mizukage make such a dastardly decision? Terumi Mei's teeth were about to smash, and his eyes were full of unyielding flames. For the first time, she felt that maybe Mizukage should be eliminated. Don't worry about such a faint superior person. But now is not a good opportunity. Urana hastened to persuade her to stop her being impulsive. Even he is very angry now. Urana, calm down, sister. We did lose this time, but not so thoroughly. Entering the secret signal class, this is the best time for me to win Hoshigaki Kisame. Moreover, it won't be doubted by anyone, it's perfect. People always have to learn to comfort themselves, and this is indeed a good opportunity to get close to Hoshigaki Kisame. It was created by Yuanlong and Mizukage. It is too dangerous to sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village alone. Once exposed, there is absolutely no place to die. Furthermore, your fighting method is already well known by the shinobi world. As long as you fight, your identity will be revealed. At that time, how can you survive? Terumi May worried. Urana was her only brother, and she didn't want to see Urana accident at all. Hearing this, Urana couldn't help laughing. If the original fighting method will reveal the identity, then just change the fighting method. Didn't I have another chakra attribute? It just happens to come in handy. After hearing this, Terumi May still frowned and said, but sister, we can't resist this task, we can only accept it. Having said this, Urana suddenly clenched her fist, her eyes shining brightly and said, but this kind of thing won't happen again. Sister, let's make an agreement. When my task returns, we will do it, and then we will be in charge of our own destiny. Listening to what Urana said, Terumi May looked serious and said, okay. Then do it. However, Xiaoyi, you must abide by the agreement and return safely. Urana grinned and said, of course. Then, he suddenly showed a sinister look and said, I heard that the Great Elder has a lot of good things in his hands. Including forbearance, phantom, physique, sealing technique, enchantment technique. Hey, it should be fine if you want him to borrow a few books from me. If you dare to calculate him, Yuanlong can't even think about having good fruits. Also Yu Chiba Obito, don't think that Kamui can be unscrupulous and arrogant. Wait, there is a time when he is crying. Upon hearing this, Terumi May grinned. That's natural, he has to agree if he doesn't agree. The next day, kid, don't give me too much. Looking at Urana with a smug face in front of him, and the order from Mizukage in his hand, Yuanlong wanted to vomit blood. Mizukage command. Allow Urana to enter the treasure pavilion where Yuanlong collects various skills and study for 2 days. It also opens all skill permissions except forbidden technique, and cannot be blocked. What a joke, Urana is Terumi May's own brother and his absolute enemy. But now, he wants to help this enemy become stronger. Is there anything more embarrassing than this? No, Master Mizukage, what do you think? How can you agree to such an unreasonable request? But Yuanlong finally let Urana in. Even though he was extremely angry, he only dared not defy Mizukage's majesty. Then thank you Great Elder Yuanlong, I will definitely come to you often in the future. Get out of here. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Yuanlong's roar. Because he was too excited, he spouted a mouthful of old blood and passed out into a coma. It has nothing to do with me. Don't look at me like this. Urana shrugged extremely innocently, faced the surrounding guards, and entered the treasure pavilion. He came here, not all came with lightning-style ninjutsu. Disgusting Yuanlong is one of the purposes, and the other is to learn the secret techniques such as sealing technique and enchantment technique. You need to be very careful when sneaking into Cloud Shinobi Village. There may be ears on the wall. There are too many uncertain factors. If the master uses the enchantment technique, whether it is perception, trapping the enemy, or shielding, he can rely on it. As for the sealing technique, it was used to deal with Uchiha Obito. His Kamui is not something ordinary ninjutsu can handle. Really a little devil who must report to you. Yuanlong just cheated you, and he retaliated back in a blink of an eye. Hey, I am looking forward to what kind of surprises you can give me. However, if you can die in Cloud Shinobi Village, that would be even better. In Mizukage's office, Yagura laughed in a low voice. The order Uchiha Obito gave him was to do everything possible to create a contradiction between Terumi May and Kurigakure, forcing her to rebel, and the best way is to kill Urana. 2 days later, hey, it's the Jumbo Pavilion, there are so many good things. Urana got up from a corner, opened the door and walked out. It's really dazzling, this sunshine. After Urana squinted her eyes to adjust to the outside light, she saw the Great Elder Yuanlong standing in front of him. Thank you very much for the skills given by the elders. I can't be thankful enough for me to gain a lot. Urana said, grateful, and thanked. Yuanlong just snorted coldly. HMPH, it's good to be able to learn things. It won't be wasting the painstaking efforts of the old man and Master Mizukage on you. The secret signal class is ready. Go to the training as soon as possible. After the training is over, hurry up to perform the task. Broken up the mission. Don't say I won't let you go. Master Mizukage won't let you go. Yuanlong sneered in his heart. How about letting you go in and study? it's just 2 days, you can learn a few more ninjutsu. It's only 3 or 5 C-level ninjutsu at most. As for the secret technique, it would be nice to be able to learn one. If you learn 3 or 5 C-level ninjutsu, your strength will hardly be improved. He didn't have much to cultivate the enemy's feeling of aggrieved feeling. As expected to be the great elder, the arrangement is proper, goodbye. Urana left immediately, and just after he left, Yuanlong entered the treasure pavilion. He wants to see what ninjutsu Urana has learned. I think it's the first time you have seen so many ninjutsu. I don't know where to start. But there are only 2 days, and you can't help but choose. And you will definitely choose the C-level ninjutsu closest to you. Yuanlong closed his eyes as if he could think of Urana's anxious appearance. When he opened his eyes and looked at it, he immediately revealed an unexpected color. The A-level ninjutsu did not move, the B-level ninjutsu only moved too, and it was the C-level ninjutsu that moved the most. HMPH. The kid is the kid, and he doesn't have any awareness of the overall situation and long-term development. I just know that you have to learn more, but I don't know the truth that more learning is not as good as intensive learning. How can you learn so many C-level ninjutsu? Your strength hasn't increased much at all. I thought you were a smart person, but now it seems that you are just a fool. Then, he went to the secret technique area again and saw those enchantment techniques and sealing techniques that Urana had learned. Stupid, wanting to learn enchantment art unexpectedly. I thought you were stupid enough to learn so many C-level ninjutsu, but I didn't expect you to have even more stupid operations. It seems that you are just a brash man with well-developed limbs and simple mind. Without your sister's advice, you are nothing. Coming to this jumbo pavilion to study, he firmly believes that this is definitely Terumi Mei's idea, and it is impossible for Urana, the IQ, to think of this. Then, he walked out of the treasure pavilion with a refreshing expression on his face. Urana was so stupid, it made him feel very comfortable. On the way, unexpectedly, most C-level ninjutsu has the potential for multiple enhancements. This is an unexpected gain. Unfortunately, there is not enough time, otherwise, you can probably look at the strengthening potential of A-level and B-level ninjutsu. But don't worry, give me some time to strengthen, I can play C-level lightning style ninjutsu better than A-level ninjutsu. The old guy Yuanlong must be thinking that I am extremely stupid now, and he even thinks that I am not worried. Unfortunately, you don't understand what I think. You think I have nothing to gain, but in fact, I have gained more. Thinking like this, Urana rushed to the secret signal class. Here, he saw Hoshigaki Kisame up close for the first time. The excited smile on his face made Hoshigaki Kisame a little hairy. Let's start, the learning of secret codes. It was no one else who instructed Urana to learn, but one of the 7 ninjas, the owner of the Samahata broadsword, the watermelon mountain pufferfish ghost. Hoshigaki Kisame is just an aide, executing different motion commands like a machine. Urana learns very quickly. After all, this is related to his life, so you can't slack off. Hoshigaki Kisame, how would you choose to recruit me? While studying, Urana glanced at Hoshigaki Kisame, thinking like this in her heart. He is ready to say that, it depends on whether Hoshigaki Kisame will be as easy to talk as in the original book. Some rest time. Your Excellency Hoshigaki Kisame, please stay, I have some doubts and would like to ask you for advice. At the corner of a room in the Cipher Squad, Urana stopped Hoshigaki Kisame like a ghost. I don't know what you want to ask me. Can someone like me help you? Hoshigaki Kisame grinned with a twitch on his face. Silent spell array. Urana quickly closed the seal and created a barrier to envelop the two. This made Hoshigaki Kisame put his hand on the knife behind his back, looked at Urana with great vigilance, and said, "What does this mean?" "Hee, don't be so nervous, I'm not here to fight." Urana smiled and motioned to Hoshigaki Kisame not to be so nervous. Then, he took the initiative to step back a few steps to show that he was not malicious, and then said, "Do you think Kurigakur today is hypocritical?" The companion who was still fighting side by side at the last moment becomes the murderer who killed himself in the next moment. This kind of Kurigakur is really suffocating and desperate. It's not true at all, and it makes people feel insecure at all. Hearing this, Hoshigaki Kisame was obviously taken aback. Then slowly narrowed his eyes and grinned. even if it is hypocritical, doesn't it have existed for so many years? So, what is your purpose for saying this today? Hurry up, you don't have much time. Anbu is crowded. Urana smiled and said, I plan to unite people with lofty ideals to change Kurigakure and crush this hypocritical reality. Establish a Kurigakure that allows people to truly feel the reality, rewards and punishments are clear, contradictions subside, and the people live and work in peace and contentment. Hoshigaki Kisame, I need your power, are you willing to participate? Upon hearing this, Hoshigaki Kisame grinned and said murderously, you are not afraid that I will reveal your plan, so that you will die without a place to bury you. You are treason, even if I kill you on the spot, there is no problem. After hearing this, Urana also laughed, and then said, no, I believe you won't do that. Why or why? Because you are Hoshigaki Kisame, a man of lofty ideals who does not want his hands to be stained with the blood of his companions. These words, obviously speaking to Hoshigaki Kisame's heart, made him a rare silence. After a while, he said, then let me see if you have the ability to achieve what you said today. If you can't do it, I will cut off your head with my hands to relieve my hatred. After listening to this, Urana believed in herself. Since I dare to say it, I have the confidence to do it. Welcome to join, Hoshigaki Kisame. But despite his self-confidence and calmness on the surface, he is still very nervous in his heart. His hands were sweating as if they were soaked in water, which is the biggest proof. Hoshigaki Kisame didn't break when seeing this, and asked, when will I start? Hurry up, just wait for my signal. Before that, get as strong as possible. After saying this, Urana withdrew from the enchantment. Just in time, a team of Anbu passed by. The timing is quite good, and there are no flaws at all. What are you doing here? Sneak up. Anbu looked at the Urana and the two of them, and said questioningly. Ask Senior Hoshigaki Kisame for some information about the secret signal. I heard that he has a lot of experience, and I want to be able to help me. Urana made up an answer. If you lie, your face doesn't blush, and your heart doesn't beat. Oh, it was Urana. The two Anbus got closer, only then did they recognize Urana. Then he said, then you have to study well, Hoshigaki Kisame, he is the strongest person in the cipher class. After speaking, he left without any doubt. Urana couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when she saw this, and then resumed her training journey. However, after resting after training, Urana still couldn't help but sigh. He originally planned to take advantage of this time to earn enough reinforcement points, and then raise his strength to Jonin level. Then, win over all the people in the village he thinks he can win, and wait for the opportunity to overthrow 4th Mizukage's rule. But, it's just like that saying, the plan can't keep up with the changes. Cloud Shinobi Village sneaked into the mission and came suddenly. Disrupted all his deployment. The next day, Mizukage office. Urana, your identity in Cloud Shinobi Village is Kira, a Class B traitor who failed to assassinate Mizukage because he couldn't stand Kurigakure's high-pressure policies. In order to make the effect realistic and not let Cloud Shinobi doubt, I will arrange Anbu to chase you down, you must be mentally prepared. And in order to carry out this mission, you have adjusted your fighting style. Learning lightning style ninjutsu is a very good idea and deserves praise. Remember, the mission time is half a year. As long as you can access all the information, you must record it all for me. When you return, I will grant you the position of Cloud Shinobi Village Jonin. After hearing this, Urana nodded, and followed Terumi Mei withdrawing, and proceeded to make an appearance modification. Otherwise, it will definitely show up. And Yagura's promise, he didn't pay much attention to it. Where is Jonin? Others yearn for, but he doesn't yearn for it. Anbu. Shape modification is a boring, long, and somewhat painful process. After all, it's not that difficult to change from one person to another. Time passed slowly. 2 hours later, looking at herself in the mirror, Urana almost didn't recognize herself. She has short silver-white hair, blue eyes, a firm and mature face, and a heavy voice. If you don't say that this is Urana, no one will recognize him. The only thing that hasn't changed is the height. Fortunately, Urana's height is quite online, 12 years old, 16 or 17 years old. Don't say it, it looks like that. Terumi Mei looked at Urana from a year ago and said critically. Then, he was pulled to a training ground by Terumi Mei. As a test before you leave, let me see what you learned from the great elder. I have a bottom in my heart, and I can handle other things better. Terumi Mei put her posture aside and said. Urana did not reject Terumi Mei's test. He also wanted to see what kind of strength his unreinforced skills could give him. Then, here I am, be careful, sister. The fighting style brought by the name White Hangguang is powerful mist shinobi technique, powerful water barrier defense, unpredictable water body, and fierce swordsmanship. But swordsmanship is inextricably changeable, and even if it is known as a name, it will not be doubted. Senkai flashes. 3 fierce chills came from 3 different directions to Terumi Mei, and the speed was quite fast. Suddenly, although Terumi Mei's physical skills are not good compared to people of the same level, it is still enough to deal with Urana. All 3 cold rays shattered, and Urana was also shaken out. Water-style Water Fang Bomb. Terumi Mei was already sealed when Urana was shaken out. Therefore, when Urana hit the ground, 2 cones of water pierced it. Boom. This time, Urana was unable to dodge, holding a knife guard in front of her chest and was blasted out heavily. But when Terumi Mei caught up and attacked, Urana turned into a thunder and lightning, and the package attacked Terumi Mei. It is a lightning-style attack technique transformed based on the lightning-style lay clone technique. Lightning-style emotion wave. A flash of lightning turned into a thunder snake and quickly wrapped around Terumi Mei's body. The latter fell into a puddle of water in an instant, then appeared from behind Urana, and blasted Perfume Femur with one blow. Lightning-style thunder pillar wall. But Urana didn't rush, and 2 dazzling thunder beams rose from the ground and stood in front of Urana. Call out. Terumi Mei didn't directly face the thunder light defense, and disappeared from the air in a whistling manner. But when she first appeared, Urana listened and said, Liu Karma Curse. A triangular spell climbed onto Terumi Mei's body quickly. Terumi Mei felt that her mobility was blocked. When did he get his seal technique? Terumi Mei was shocked. Then he thought about it and said in his heart, could it be the moment when he repelled him just now? If this is the case, then Urana has a really flexible mind. Lightning-style thunder formation. Urana's voice came again, interrupting Terumi Mei's thinking. A dark cloud appeared on Terumi Mei's head. There were a lot of thunder and lightning converging, and it turned out that Terumi Mei felt threatened. Not bad, Xiaoyi. Unexpectedly, after changing your fighting style, your strength will still be so strong. However, this skill can't help me. A majestic chakra burst out of Terumi Mei's body, and he broke free from the control of the spell. At the moment when the thunder and lightning came down, Jaeyin sprayed out a water barrier to defend against the thunder and lightning. Xiaoyi, I won't give you a chance to attack. While Terumi Mei was defending against thunder and lightning, Urana had already approached her, her long knife gleaming with an astonishing cold light, and it stabbed in awe. And the mark in Terumi Mei's hand also changed quickly, saying, Water-style Hao Shui wrist technique. Boom! A puddle of water flowed out in front of Urana, from which a huge wrist flew out, and Urana was hit and flew out heavily. Fast does not give a chance to react at all. Aha! Urana felt that her breastbone was about to be broken, and the blood surged up like a spurt of blood. Xiaoyi, it's not over yet, you can't relax your guard. Terumi Mei's voice came again, but she saw her cheek swelled and said, Water-style water rushing wave. A majestic wave of water directly submerged Urana. Powerful people have no way to resist, and there is too late to have any countermeasures. Urana has no control over her body, she can only follow the flow, and slowly, lost, in the current. Lost. The current quickly dissipated, and Urana got up from the ground very embarrassed and said. Terumi Mei was a little serious, and he lost. The gap was not so big. You can have this kind of strength when you have just master lightning-style ninjutsu, you deserve it, Xiaoyi. Now that can threaten you, only Jonin and above exist, so I can feel a little relieved. When you arrive at Cloud Shinobi Village, you have to be more careful and never reveal your identity, you know. Terumi Mei patted Urana on the shoulder and ordered. Don't worry, elder sister, I will pay attention. You should also pay attention to your safety. Be careful, don't be overcast by Yuan Long Gai. During this period, let's work hard together. After half a year, we will begin to dominate our own destiny and build a new Kurigakure. Oh, by the way, sister, the watermelon mountain puffer fish ghost is unreliable. You must not reveal anything to him, and you must not be aware of anything. If you have no energy, you can ask Hoshigaki Kisame to help monitor. He is a credible person. After listening to Urana's instructions, Terumi nodded and said he knew. Upon seeing this, Urana turned around and left the training ground, heading towards the target Cloud Shinobi Village. Cloud Shinobi Village. This time, don't have any more accidents. Otherwise, it would be difficult for me to recruit foreign talents in Cloud Shinobi Village. Fourth Raikage told Cloud Shinobi, the line below him. Learn. A crowd of Cloud Shinobi responded, and then left with a whistle. As Yura of Kurigakure, whether you rushed for real or faked. Anyway, let me get some Kurigakure information from you. If you can pass the test of Cloud Shinobi Village, then again, I will definitely treat you as a loyal subordinate. If it fails, then I have nothing to lose. After all, I got Kurigakure's information from you, and before you gain my trust, you will be supervised and can't move anything. Of course Fourth Raikage is not a fool. Someone in Kurigakure said to vote, and he accepted it without any doubt. He also has his plans, his calculations. Through this guy named Yura, you can also learn more about the white cold light that has risen to fame recently. This guy is a potential threat worth noting, just like the golden glitter of the year. Although he is certainly not as tricky as the golden glitter, since Konoha village values him so much, there must be something extraordinary. On the road to the Kingdom of Thunder. Hurry up, speed up, and don't delay for a moment. If you miss the talent like the last time, the mission fails, you and I will have no face-to-face Master Raikage when I go back, so it's better to apologize with death. So, give me the spirit of 12 points, only success, no failure. The leader of the Cloud Shinobi Anbu captain shouted sharply. Yes, the Anbu replied awe-inspiringly, with a little bit of determination in their voices. Give up, Yura, you have nowhere to escape, it's better to surrender obediently. Betrayal of Master Mizukage is a capital crime. Go back with us and ask Master Mizukage so that you can still have a way to survive. Somewhere near the Kingdom of Clouds, a group of Wurin surrounded a young man with short silver hair, with a cold expression on his face. Do you think I have come here? Will I go back with you? It's just a dead end to go back. As a Kurigakure ninja, don't I know what the fate of betraying the village will be? Give up persuading to surrender, everyone, I only have two options today. Either died in battle, or succeeded in waiting until Cloud Shinobi supports to join Cloud Shinobi Village. Other than that, I have no other retreat. Needless to say, the young man with short silver hair is of course Urana. He was hurt all over his body at the moment, blood was flowing out from time to time, and he was gasping for breath. However, this is not his acting, he is really desperate. He originally thought that these misty ninjas were actors who cooperated with him in acting. But when Urana just wanted to act a little bit, cheated Cloud Shinobi and almost died with a knife in his heart, he suddenly woke up. He may be deceived, maybe these people really want to kill him. After all, there is a Yuanlong in Kurigakure who can't wait for him to die. That's a shame, we have already given you a chance. Since you don't cherish it, then you have to complete that adult's entrustment and kill you here. Hey, what a good place, there is no shop in front of the village, and the best place for you like a lonely ghost. Let's go together. After killing this kid, you can concentrate on dealing with his sister with that adult when you go back. After all, a group of Anbu pounced like tigers. Yuanlong. Urana instantly guessed who the adult in these people's mouths was. What can you guess? We did a fake show but got the approval of Master Mizukage. Even if you kill you, it can only be regarded as too much force, confiscated and stopped, your sister can't do anything to us. Die, the lead mister roared sharply, and the shimmering blade stabbed at Urana. Around Urana, there was a group of blades shining with cold light. Urana had already lost too much blood, and it was too late to react. There is no other way, you can only use water-style ninjutsu, let's expose it. If you expose it, your life matters. Urana is not a pedantic person, and still abides by the identity of Yura at this time. But just as Urana was about to use Kurigakure, a voice suddenly came from behind him. If you want to kill him, you have to ask us if we agree. Lightning-style Lei Guangju. A dazzling thunder light instantly illuminates the range of several tens of meters in a circle, causing these mists to quickly retreat. gathered together in a defensive stance to prevent a sneak attack. But when the thunder light dissipated and the mist ninja's sight resumed, there was nothing left in the same place. Urana disappeared, and the person who rescued him left no trace. Chase, absolutely can't let that guy run away. The lead Wuren's eyes were directly stubborn, and he roared lowly, and then chased after him. Yes, a group of Wuren responded indifferently, and they all followed behind this person, chasing away. But in the Thunder Country, no matter how powerful Mizzen Shinobi is, it is impossible to beat the local residents' Cloud Shinobi. Therefore, the Wujinmen unfortunately lost their goal. After losing Urana, the Misty Ninja roared. Don't blame him for this, he has leaked the news of Yuanlong, but Urana was successfully rescued by Cloud Shinobi, how could Yuanlong let him go? Even if Yuanlong let him go, and grew up to return to Kurigakure with Urana's terrifying talent, he would still be dead. But now, no matter how angry he was, it was useless. Urana was successfully rescued and it has become a reality. It is the truth to think about how to go back and explain to Yuanlong. On the other side, Yura, right, we are Cloud Shinobi, here to save you. Please don't move, just follow us to Cloud Shinobi village. The extremely weak Urana was carried by a tall Cloud Shinobi, and a thin Cloud Shinobi said to him. It looks like I'm saved, it's really timely, everyone. Urana grinned, quite a bit of an afterthought. But he muttered fiercely in his heart, Yuanlong, right. It's very good, can't help but start on me so soon. I remember this hatred, wait for the little master to go back and see how I can clean you up. A day later, a group of people arrived at Cloud Shinobi village. One heart injury is serious, and the rest of the body is also slandered. If this is acting, it would be too costly. This is completely a rhythm that kills him. Let's throw it into the hospital first, and heal his injuries. Of course, the monitoring force must be no less. When he is healed, I will take him to Anbu for testing immediately to see if he is on the right track. Can escape from the hands of the Anbu elite, this guy is indeed a bit savvy. If it can really be used by me, it would be a talent. Facing the request of Captain Anbu in charge of this mission, 4th Raikage ordered. This Anbu immediately took his orders and retired. 2 days later, Cloud Shinobi Village Medical Hospital. You are awake. You can go so far after suffering such a severe injury. Your body is really strong. When Urana opened her eyes again, she saw a young female medical ninja. Hee, then I should be grateful to the gods and Buddhas, they blessed me to survive again. Urana got up, looked around and said, compared with Kurigakure's depression, the atmosphere here is really good, and it makes people feel very relaxed. HMPH, of course, otherwise why would you risk your life to come to us? Okay, I won't tell you anymore, Master Raikage has ordered, you can report to him when you wake up. After all, the female medical ninja left with her little pony tail. It's really not muddled at all, just neat. Is this Cloud Shinobi village? It feels pretty good. Urana got up from the bed, his chest wound was mostly healed, and his mobility was not affected. Paired with a blade by the bed and put on clothes, Urana came to the Raikage building. The guards here may have been ordered by Raikage long ago. After seeing Urana coming, he immediately, please, him to Raikage's office. Yura, Kurigakure Class B Rebel, the original Kurigakure Special Jonin, good at lightning style, swordsmanship. Because of the failed assassination of Mizukage and defected, the reason was unbearable Kurigakure's pressure, right? It's just that I don't know the credibility of this information. How can I guarantee that there is real information in it? 4th Raikage put his arms around his chest, looked up at Urana and asked. Next to him, stood a capable female ninja with a bronze skin and a curly hair, and a silver-haired ninja with a thunder engraved on his arm. Mabuyi, Darui. This information is readily available. The possibility of fraud is too great. Why should Master Raikage confirm to me? Even if I say this is true, will Master Raikage believe it? It's better to understand some deeper information, such as. Urana pointed to her head, and said, the information about Kurigakure contained in it, Master Raikage needs it, right? Urana's ease and calmness, not playing cards according to the routine, made 4th Raikage not only stunned. In the past, other ninjas who had joined outside. When faced with his inquiry, he was not yelling, Master Raikage, please trust me. It's like saying, I never dare to deceive you, Lord Rakage, I really joined and I am definitely not a spy. It was the first to be as calm as Urana, and to skip directly the information that could be investigated. Interesting, you are starting to arouse my interest. Then as you wish, let me understand the information in your head. With that, Fourth Rakage winked at Anbu, who was on standby behind Urana, and the latter took Urana down. Words can deceive, but memories can't. 2 quarters later, Urana, who was extremely pale and painful, was brought here again. How? Is there anything wrong with this kid's memory? Fourth Rakage asked. Anbu shook his head and said, the memory is normal. However, there is not a lot of information about the white cold light you want to know. As a person of Kurigakure, why don't you have any memory of white cold light? Can you give me a reasonable explanation, Kira? Fourth Rakage looked at Urana, his eyes gleaming, and asked. There was a feeling that Urana would be dead if he answered a question. White Hangwang is indeed famous in Kurigakure, but I only recently returned from a mission. Although he knows his name, it doesn't have too much intersection with him. There is no more information about him. Isn't it quite normal? Urana said quite calmly, but he couldn't help silently thanking Kurigakure's Anbu in his heart. The memory is forged so well that Anbu in Cloud Shinobi Village can't be seen at all. Although this has something to do with Kurigakure being isolated from the world all year round and not being known too much. But Kurigakure Anbu's forged memory helped a lot. At least, he has now been initially accepted by Rakage. I believe that as long as he doesn't make any principled mistakes, he should no longer be suspected too much. What a calm guy. Looking at you, I can hardly imagine that you will assassinate Mizukage. Facing Fourth Rakage's praise with tentative words, Urana smiled and said, this is also because Lord Rakage gave me a chance to think. In Kurigakure, my nature is not allowed to be released at all. Rakage loves to hear these words. Wearing everything, not flattering. Okay, then I officially welcome you to join on behalf of Cloud Shinobi Village, Kira. Just join Anbu, stay and do things in the field you are most familiar with. Work hard, Cloud Shinobi Village will never treat you badly. Rakage patted Urana on the shoulder. Yes, Lord Rakage. Urana pretended to be grateful. After Urana left, Rakage said, this Kira is really interesting. However, you can't just trust him like this. The test has just begun. Urana naturally did not know these words of Rakage. However, he could also think that Rakage would not trust him so easily. Let time prove it, Kurigakure, you have to work harder, don't do anything wrong with me. Urana wants to gain a foothold in Cloud Shinobi Village. It is not enough for him to work unilaterally in Cloud Shinobi Village. Kurigakure has to stop him. Cloud Shinobi Village Anbu. Anbu came here with Urana to report and registered his identity. After receiving the clothes and putting on them, a group of Anbu was gathered, and Urana was introduced to everyone. Introduce, the original Kurigakure special Jonin Kira, now abandons the shadow to join our Cloud Shinobi Village, code-named, Jinghong. Don't bully him, you usually need to take care of him, understand? If you didn't look at the fierce eyes of the Anbus, Urana would probably feel that she would really be taken care of. But now, it's obviously caring. It seems that if I want to blend into these people, I have to speak with strength. The strong will always be respected, this is the principle that prevails everywhere. This is the Anbu code. Give you a day to memorize it. After a day, you will officially start your mission. The man who brought Urana to Anbu gave Urana a manual and left. Everyone, I hope you can give me a lot of advice in the future. Urana bowed politely to all of her colleagues. Hey, newcomer, then you have to be prepared, our pattern is different from your Kurigakure. We at Cloud Shinobi Village don't talk about seniority ranking. Whoever is strong has the right to speak. Perform the mission in a day, don't hold back us. If you hold back, we will definitely kill you. A strong Anbu pressed against Urana's forehead and said fiercely. Urana smiled and responded, of course, I was mentally prepared for a long time. Then, just as this Cloud Shinobi turned and left, he said again, however, there is one thing you might be mistaken. We, Kurigakure, also respect our strength, and we implement a strict hierarchy. It's possible that only Konoha village will have such a thing as a ranking of seniority. Also, if you drag your feet, I will kill you without hesitation. Those who are dragging their feet on the battlefield are not qualified to live. Provocation, provocation. This is definitely provocation, provocation. The eyes of all Cloud Shinobi Anbu members suddenly became cold. The growing Anbu just now roared in anger, "Don't be arrogant, newcomer." He fisted wildly, and awe-inspiring thunder light appeared on his arm. He actually aimed at Urana's head and shouted sharply, "Lightning-style thunderstorm." This guy is really looking for death, and he provokes Orui. He is the strongest person in Anbu, and his defenses are indestructible. Even Jonin can hardly break his defenses. HMPH, dare to be arrogant in our Cloud Shinobi village, let him remember the lesson. Outsiders, it's not your turn to show off. Oh Louis, don't beat him to death, remember to keep your breath. Otherwise, Lord Rakage won't give you good fruit. Some people scorned, others booed. Boy, what's the matter? I'm so scared that I can't move. Urana, who saw him, stood there and hadn't moved at all, and Oral couldn't help but make a loud noise. Don't worry, I will pay attention to my measure, and I won't let you die. But just when he finished saying this, his fist was about to reach Urana's forehead. Urana, who listened calmly, said, 6 pillars of flame formation. A dark red enchantment with a hexagonal shape encased Urana, and crossed Orui and Urana. Boom! The power of this punch can be said to be extremely important. The entire underground Anbu shook for a while, and the ground near Orui directly cracked and collapsed. But this is not the point. Under the gaze of the Anbu members who stepped back to avoid the impact, Orui stepped back out with a bitter cry. When I saw him, his arm was burned. Opposite him, Urana digs out her ears and is safe. Even to catch a frontal punch from Orui. No, it's true, can this kind of thing happen? After so many years, they haven't seen a second person besides Rakage, blocking Orui frontally. This guy actually knows how to enchant. But the power is too strong. Unexpectedly, even Orui's fist could not cause any harm to him. The Cloud Shinobi Anbu was not a little horrified, looking at Urana like a ghost. This guy is really a bit arrogant. No wonder you dare to assassinate Mizukage. Why, the yelling is so fierce, but in the end I can't even break through my defenses. It seems that the Anbu strength of Cloud Shinobi village is not as powerful as I imagined. Urana continued to provoke. These people wanted to give him offense, and that might have given him the wrong person. He can't be polite, and he has any concessions to these people. If you really want to talk about getting off the horse, that's what he gave to these talents. Kid, don't give me too much. Give me less arrogance. Orui's angry eyes were red, and his aura became extremely fierce. Then, he roared and charged again. The whole person was like a savage dragon. Illusory technique, Jingni technique. But Urana took Jaein calmly, and then glared. The next moment, Orui, who saw him, couldn't help groaning, and the thunder light on his body disappeared. He felt that his chakra was disordered and could not be mobilized. Puff! The enchantment disappeared. Urana appeared in front of Orui with a whistling, piercing his shoulders with a white blade in his hand, flashing astonishing thunder and lightning in his hands, and said, "You lost." Hateful. Oliui was paralyzed by the electric current and couldn't move at all. Quickly let go of Orui. Rookie, don't go too far. I advise you to be kind. The surrounding Anbu members seemed to have reacted, and rushed over with a loud shout. Urana quit immediately and said, "Well, don't be so excited, everyone. I just confirm the strength of the companions who will perform tasks together in the future. Since you don't want me to hold back, then I don't want you to hold me back in exchange at the same price. Isn't this fair?" Urana returned the sword to its sheath, looking at the dissatisfied Orui, with a cold smile at the corner of her mouth, and said, "If you were my enemy just now, you would have fallen to the ground." Hateful. These words made Orui angry again. Okay, give me enough, Kira. Only this time, and the next time, I will be happy to play with you. At this time, the Anbu who had left just now appeared in front of Urana again and warned him. The cold and heavy pressure radiated from him, and Urana couldn't help but change his face. Although she is not as good as Terumi Mei, she is also in a good mood. Understand. Urana immediately put on a smiling face and said. This Anbu glanced at Orui again, and left after leaving the sentence, "Shameful. Everyone, see you later." Urana left immediately, completely ignoring the murderous gazes behind him. One day, I will kill him myself. Oral swears bitterly, his fists clenched and rattled. And the other Anbu thought in their hearts, this guy, the strength is about to catch up with the team captains. Team captains, the strength is basically Jonin level, only a few are special Jonin. Orui, who had the ability to fight against the special Jonin, was so easily defeated by Urana. At the same time, Raikage's office. The Anbu just now reported Urana's behavior in Anbu to 4th Raikage. This kid is really arrogant. In that case, give him a few basic tasks first, and sharpen him. Being a human, don't be too arrogant. This is Cloud Shinobi Village, not his Kurigakure. As Raikage, before accepting Urana, he will definitely maintain Cloud Shinobi. Yes, this Anbu withdrew upon hearing the words, and came to Urana's residence, a run-down house full of spider web dust, and conveyed the news. Understand, is this a punishment for my arrogance? Urana wasn't angry at all, which was beyond Anbu's expectation. In his expectation, after hearing the news, Urana should show anger and protest against unfairness. People are under the eaves and have to bow their heads, and my protest is also invalid. In that case, why waste your tongue? It is better to accept the arrangement of fate. As if seeing Anbu's doubts, Urana replied, "You are an interesting person." This person left after leaving such a sentence. After the house was cleaned, it was already evening. After moving all the daily necessities sent by Anbu into the house, after tidying up, Urana took a hasty shower and fell asleep. The next day, Jinghong, come and report. Urana arrived at the Anbu mission release office on time and began to perform her own mission. E-level task, help Grandma Leakin pull the weeds. E-level mission, clear the rubbish in the river outside Cloud Shinobi Village. E-level task, clean up the house of Grandpa Hachan. E-level mission. In short, it is the lowest class, the least rewarded, and the most tiring task. Oh, isn't this the spirited surprise of us yesterday? How come we started working as handymen today and doing such inferior things? What about yesterday's arrogance? How come I waved my tail like a pug in my Cloud Shinobi Village class for pity? When Urana came to the mission site, Grandma Leakin's house, and started weeding, a discordant, harmonious voice came. Urana knows who is coming without even looking. With such a big shadow and such a rush to speak, who else can anyone besides the big Oliui? Urana completely ignored his provocation. The best way to deal with people looking for places like this is to ignore them. No one pays attention to him, he is like a fool, and then he will shut up with interest. Besides, I joined Cloud Shinobi Village to detect news. Performing such low-level tasks is more conducive for me to detect news. If you can't fight and kill, you won't fight and kill. With this time, earning reinforcement points to make yourself stronger is not fragrant. Raikage thought this would punish herself. Little did Urana wish that he would never be on the front line. Cut, you guy can really bear it, there is no reaction at all like this. I was provoking for a long time, but Urana didn't react at all, and Orui had to retreat boringly. Urana didn't take the initiative to fight back, so he didn't have a chance to start. In this scene, Jean's Anbu spied on Urana secretly, and he couldn't help but admire his heart. Just like Olui said, it's really tolerable. And this Anbu, the one who gave the code name Urana, has a mysterious origin. Young man, thank you, the work is done beautifully, this is a commission. At noon, Urana solved the task perfectly and received the commission. Grandma Leakin is polite, welcome to visit next time, if there is such a task, I will be happy to perform it. Urana gave full play to the fine traditional virtues of respecting the elderly, and the coaxing Grandma Leakin was from ear to ear. He just dragged Urana to chat for a long time before letting Urana leave. This guy, why does it seem to enjoy this kind of task so much? The person monitoring Urana couldn't help but have such an absurd idea in his mind. Time, 7 days passed in a blink of an eye. Raikage office. How's it going? Kirigai knows it's great. Have you shown remorse, indicating that you will not be so arrogant in the future, asking for forgiveness? 4th Raikage asked the Anbu who was monitoring Urana. This, Lord Raikage, how do you say it? Hearing that, this Anbu didn't know how to answer this question. Because there is really no way to answer this question. Urana regrets. His days are simply enviable. In addition to performing tasks every day, I just chatted with a group of old men and women, just like living an old life in advance. He didn't see how Urana regretted. What's the matter? Why are you hesitating? Is there anything you can't tell me? Upon seeing this, Fourth Raikage couldn't help frowning, a little dissatisfied. That guy Kira, not only doesn't have any regrets at all, but he seems to be quite fond of such low-level tasks. I happily do various tasks every day, without resistance at all, but enjoy it. Now most of the old people in the village know him. As soon as something happens, he immediately thinks of him. Listening to Anbu's answer, Fourth Raikage couldn't help being stunned. He and this Anbu had big eyes and small eyes, and their faces were full of expressions of, "Are you kidding me?" If Raikage-sama doesn't believe it, you can see it for yourself. Kira-gai, I really don't understand it. In this Anbu tone, he said rather helplessly. Fourth Raikage broke the window immediately and headed towards Urana's mission place. He wants to see, what the hell is Urana doing? He was actually enjoying the low-level tasks that others shunned and talked about. What a joke. His original intention was to suppress Urana, smooth his arrogant edges and corners a bit, and control him better. But now, his idea hasn't worked at all, so get some wool. He has a feeling of aggrieved punch on the cotton. Didn't you feel aggrieved if you didn't achieve the goal you wanted at all? The weather is really good today. I went out to weed again, things are easy without fatigue, leisurely without worry. When Fourth Raikage found Urana, he was playing chess with Grandpa Hachan, humming a little song in his mouth. It was called a leisurely. Jing, Grandpa Hachan, I won again. Urana suddenly improved her voice and said happily. Ha ha ha, getting old and old, no better than you young people. Come here, I will play 2 games with the old man. It's been a long time since no one played shogi with me. Grandpa Hachan smiled and cleaned the cards, and then the two got up again. Kira, I let you do the task, are you just being lazy here? Finally, Fourth Raikage couldn't help it anymore, and snarled. As soon as his voice came out, Urana looked as if he had just seen him, and said with a surprised expression, Master Raikage, why are you here? Sit down, are you here to play chess? Urana was smiling, and Fourth Raikage suddenly burst into blue veins on his forehead. Boy, don't forget your identity, don't be arrogant in front of me. To say it was anger, it would be better to say it was an angry roar. Nah, Master Raikage calms down, isn't it because you let me perform E-level missions to cultivate my character? I have always been performing tasks in accordance with the rules, conscientious and conscientious, how can I talk about being lazy? Urana said with an innocent look. You have time to play chess, and you said you haven't been lazy. Your grass was pulled, why didn't I see that you were performing a mission? Fourth Raikage shouted angrily. At this time, Grandpa Murata said, Master Raikage calm down. It was me who issued a weeding mission as an excuse to let him come and play chess to relieve his boredom. Please don't blame him. After hearing this, Fourth Raikage felt depressed and wanted to vomit blood. I was caught off guard to slap my face so quickly. He saw it clearly, and Urana's mouth flashed with schadenfreude. But he has no evidence to prove that Urana laughed. Because that gloating smile really just flashed past. HMPH, after doing the E-level mission for so long, I think your Xinxing should have almost been tempered. From tomorrow on, you will return to Anbu's normal life. It would be too awkward to let a talent like you perform such a low-level task. Fourth Raikage didn't know what concentration he used to say this aggrieved sentence. But he knew that for his first confrontation with Urana, he lost completely. Thank you, Lord Raikage, it's a great honor. Urana knelt on the ground immediately and said humbly. Humph, seeing him like this, Fourth Raikage suddenly felt that he was too rash. Maybe he should be allowed to perform the E-level mission for a few more days, so that he should be tempered and tempered. But the words have been said, there is no way to change it. In the end, he had no choice but to turn his face black and walk away. Come on, let's continue. After Fourth Raikage left, Urana looked at Grandpa Kuntian and said with a grin. Will, you kid let me order. You are so unkind, you shame me. One morning, just passed by at Grandpa Kuntian's house. In the afternoon, Urana wiped her saber, took off her coat, and then swung her sword. In the past week, he only earned 15,000 strengthening points. Now, It's time to earn reinforcement points and strengthen yourself. Since you really want to start the task, you must first put your own life first. He didn't think fourth Hokage would arrange any easy tasks for him. Until the top of the moon, when the lights are on. She was sweaty and tired like Urana crawling out of the water before she stopped. 10,000 strengthening points, it can be considered a gain. Urana took off her clothes, lay in the bathtub newly bought with the money she had recently earned, and clicked on her skill panel. Lightning Style Ninjutsu. Thunder Pillar Wall, Emotion Wave, Thunder Bomb Technique, C. Thunder Array, B. Swordsmanship. 3 flashes, separate 2 physical phantoms and 1 illusory shadow that confuses the enemy, so as to achieve the skill of killing with 1 hit, B. Enchantment. Silent Array, Perception Array, C. 6-column Flame Array, B. Seal Technique. Bound Flow Karma Curse, Seal Action Ability, B. Illusion. Jingani Technique. Let the practitioner feel that chakra is sealed, so that chakra is disordered, C. Except that swordsmanship was created by himself, the rest is what he got in Yuanlong's treasure pavilion. Strengthen all skills, Urana said in his heart. To strengthen all skills, 2.1 W strengthening points are required. Urana is now enough to pay, and there are still 4,000 reinforcement points left as a spare. Enhancing all skills will not make Urana's strength increase significantly in the vertical direction, but it will increase a lot in the horizontal direction. The wider he is at a certain level, the easier it is to deal with people of the same level. Just like he is now, after strengthening, he can kill the special Jonin in seconds and fight against Jonin. And this is something that a Jonin level person cannot do. Strengthening is in progress, please concentrate your attention on host to avoid failure. In Urana's mind, the voice of the system rang. Then, a buzzing sound rang, and it continued to sound like this. 10 minutes later, all the skills have been successfully strengthened, and this time a total of 21,000 strengthening points will be consumed. When the system sound ended, his new attribute panel appeared before his eyes. Ninjutsu. Thunder Pillar Wall. Initial strengthening points, 1,000. Enhanced effect. Defense power increased by 2 times, with lightning autonomous attack effect. Enhanced grade, B. Number of enhancements, 1. Ninjutsu. Emotion Wave. Initial strengthening points, 1,000. Enhanced effect. Release speed, power, range increased by 2 times. Enhanced grade, B. Number of enhancements, 1. Swordsmanship. Flash. Initial enhancement points, 5,000. Enhanced effect. 3 times faster, unpredictable. Enhanced grade, A. Number of enhancements, 2. Enchantment. 6 pillars of flame array. Initial enhancement points, 5,000. Enhanced effect. Defense power increased by 2 times, with autonomous fire attack effect. Enhanced grade, A. Number of enhancements, 1. Sealing technique. Bound stream karma curse. Initial enhancement points, 5,000. Enhanced effect. Imprisoned time, the difficulty of breaking free is increased by 2 times. Enhanced grade, A. Number of enhancements, 1. Illusion. Jingani technique. Initial strengthening points, 1,000. Enhanced effect. Release speed, the effect is increased by 2 times, and the conventional technique cannot be cancelled. Enhanced grade, B. Number of enhancements, 1. Task, come on. Urana got up from the bathtub and dried her body, then practiced in the yard. He didn't stop and fell asleep until all the enhanced skills could be used proficiently. And this Anbuhu was spying on Urana secretly. Although I couldn't see anything unusual about Urana's ninjutsu, I couldn't help but admire him for such a diligent attitude. Sure enough, good people have good reason. The next day, Urana woke up on time. After eating breakfast, I came to Anbu and waited with my eyes closed. He whispered in his heart, with my current strength, Jonin is afraid that he can only draw with me. After I work hard for a while and gather 20 W strengthening points to strengthen myself, I will be able to kill Jonin like cutting melons and vegetables. After some time, Olui arrived. When I saw that Urana was also here, I couldn't help being surprised. Then, he couldn't help but jokingly said, "Why, tired of the hard work of the E-level mission, have you finally confessed your mistake to Lord Hokage and begged for mercy?" In his opinion, the reason why Karma Urana is here is simple. That is, Hokage personally issued an order to lift Urana's punishment. And if you want Hokage to remove the punishment for Urana, isn't it only for Urana to take the initiative to admit her mistake? Could it be that Lord Hokage came to the door in person and took the initiative to lift the punishment on Urana? How could there be such a good thing? If it were so, the sow would have gone up the tree. If you want to understand this way, I don't have any comments. However, if you really want to know the reason, you might as well ask yourself. This will save you from guessing. Urana opened her eyes and glanced at him, and then said, "Trouble you, let me go, you are blocking my breath. You guy, don't give me." Before finishing speaking, Urana, who saw him, suddenly opened her eyes and said, "Jing ni technique." Then, Urana rapped Raiden's fingers sharply, and stopped in front of Orui's neck. "Do you think I dare to kill you?" These words are extremely cold, but they are extremely proud. The surrounding Anbus couldn't help being surprised when they saw this scene. He defeated Orui in an instant, so strong. It's their captain, but that's it. They thought that what Urana showed that day was true strength. It seems that this is not the case at all. The strength of this guy is simply unfathomable. But at the same time they were surprised, their faces were not pretty. Urana is too arrogant as an outsider, don't you really take them seriously? How dare to directly attack their companion Olui? Do you think their Cloud Shinobi village is empty? Jinghong, do you want to be punished again for an E-level mission? Don't stop me. At this time, a voice of warning came from behind Urana. But the Anbu who had been watching Urana walked in and said with a cold look in his eyes. The crowd around Anbu immediately saluted, and said respectfully, "Sir Captain." "Oh, I didn't expect you to be our leader, how offensive you are, please forgive me." Urana immediately lifted his illusion control over Orui, and bowed slightly with a smile. It's just his face, but no apology can be seen, some are just cynical and rebellious. He continued, "Of course, if I can continue to do E-level missions, I really can't ask for it. After all, that day is what I want." Regarding his words, the leader of the team immediately snorted and said, "I hope you can still have such an air when you are on the battlefield. If that were the case, I could barely approve of you, but now, you are just a thorn in my eyes. You should thank Master Hokage, if it weren't for him to say he wants to train you. Otherwise, you have been beheaded by me now." Hearing the cold words of the captain, Urana touched her neck pretending to be scared, and said, "That's really terrible. Captain." Then, the captain scanned everyone present, and said, "Today's task is to hunt down the B-class rebel who fled to the border of the Country of Fire and prepares to join the local pirate tribe, Yuta. Make a statement in advance, be prepared to fail to negotiate with the pirates, and you better not underestimate the pirate tribes there. Among them are quite good ninjas, and they have considerable armed forces and equipment. And according to the news from the relevant channel, their leader has a very difficult summoning beast. If you die because of carelessness, then I won't have the slightest pity for you. The weak get no sympathy at Cloud Shinobi Village. Understand?" Hearing this, a crowd of Cloud Shinobi Village Anbu immediately shouted and responded, "Of course, who will lose to the mere pirate tribe? They didn't take pirates in their eyes. Is it the Country of Fire again? I really have fate with him." Urana thought in her heart when she heard the words. Not long ago, because of a fight with a ninja in Konoha village, the Country of Fire, he got the name of White Hangwang. So, what will happen this time? Urana said that he is looking forward to it. In that case, let's go. Jinghong, remember, my name is Tianxin. At this time, Captain Anbu said to Urana. Understood, Captain Tianxin. Urana nodded and said that he knew, and set off with the large group. Boy, do you want to kill more people than someone else? Fighting in the nest is nothing. On the way to the Country of Fire, Orui posted again and said provocatively. It's up to you, but you won't be the winner. Urana shrugged and said it didn't matter. When it comes to killing, he doesn't think he will be inferior to the reckless man Orui. And at the same time, Kurigakure. Sao Yi, you should arrive at Cloud Shinobi Village safely now, you must be safe. Terumi Mei prayed in her heart. Master Terumi Mei, it's time to go, the Seal of Six Tails will begin soon. At this moment, two Anbu appeared from Terumi Mei and said to her. Understood. Terumi Mei responded and put on a scarlet mask. For an instant, it was as if he was incarnate as an Asura. His aura was completely different, and he followed the two Anbus and left. On an island around the country of water. Monster, you, don't come over again. A person who looked like a pirate was looking at the boy in front of him with horror at the moment, backing in despair. However, before he finished speaking, a white phantom pierced his head straight. He suddenly fell into a pool of blood with his eyes widened, his eyes gradually darkening. I hate, others call me, monsters. The young man shouted with a grimly face. He was covered with bones, and his brows were a little red. It was Kagaya Kimimaro. Kimimaro, don't get excited, it's just the opinion of the layman, why bother? All we have to do is to become stronger as soon as possible. Only in this way can I help Master Urana and become a useful tool in his hands. A teenager who looked like a very girl put his hand on Kimimaro's body to persuade him. No one else, it is water without moon white. Yes, why should I care about their opinions, as long as they can be a useful tool for Master Urana? When Kagaya Kimimaro heard this, the scarlet eyes suddenly returned to normal, and the murderous aura subsided. There is no more alive around them. The corpses were everywhere, and the ground was frozen, exuding a cold bloody breath. Let's go, it's time to find the next target that can make us stronger. Kimimaro said to Shiro, and walked to the ferry on the beach. Soon after, a team of Wurin appeared here. After they investigated for a while, the leader of the humanity said, killing the gods duo, chase after. You must not let them continue to wreak havoc. If I guessed correctly, they should be the remnants of the Kurigakure Toru Yoruichi clan and the Mizusuki clan. Yes, a crowd of Wuren chased away immediately. At this time, Urana, who had arrived in the land of fire, didn't know. Kagaya Kimimaro and Mizuki Shiro, who he let go, have already made some reputation around the country of water, and they have already alarmed Kurigakure. Pirate tribe, what a good place, if you don't say it, I thought it was a tourist resort. Looking at the colorful island in front of me, Urana said with emotion. No matter how beautiful his appearance is, it can't hide his dirt and grime. If they surrendered rebellion, nothing happened, but if they refused, then I wouldn't mind destroying them. Tianxin said murderously, and then sent an Anbu to convey his meaning. Urana secretly formed the seal, releasing a perceptual barrier to spread out, so as not to be attacked. 2 minutes later, Anbu, who was sent out to contact him, came back with injuries all over his body. He said with a gloomy face, the pirate tribe refused to hand over Yuta, and threatened to give it a try if we dare to do it. If others are afraid of your 5 ninja villages, we are not afraid. Hearing this, Tianxin's eyes suddenly became cold, and said, if this is the case, then I will fulfill his wish. Go all out, don't keep one. Following Tianxin's murderous order, a group of Anbu immediately drove the boat forward at full speed. On the sea in front of them, a group of pirate ships had appeared. There were all kinds of murderous people standing on it, each holding a dazzling blade, and looking at Urana and others with cruel smiles. Gia, even such a small number of people dare to fight with us. You deserve to be from the 5 great ninja villages. They really look down on people. I admit that their strength on the shore is indeed very strong, but I am sorry, on the sea, we are the real kings. These land ducks also want to compete with us, they are really looking for death. A group of pirates laughed suddenly, not paying attention to Urana at all. Brothers, give them some color and let them know who the hegemon of the sea is. At this time, someone at the captain level spoke, and the pirates immediately led their orders. Then, gun barrels appeared on the tall pirate ships that I saw, and they aimed at Urana and the boat they were riding in. Compared to the large warships of the pirates, the civilian ship Urana and the others were on was really small. Boom boom. There was a burst of thunder, amidst the flames, the sky full of detonating talisman projectiles impacted. Detonating talisman projectile is to wrap a pile of detonating talisman with an iron ball, wrapped into the size of a projectile, and fired out, with great power. Boom boom boom. Facing the flood of bullets, Urana and other cloud shinobi Anbu evaded immediately. But they evaded, and their ship suffered, and was suddenly shattered by the explosion. Urana thought, as the target a ship, things are starting to be troublesome. He retreated hard and retreated to a relatively small area where the shells had spread. Because there are still many projectiles falling on the water, all kinds of water waves are set off. A considerable part of Cloud Shinobi has nowhere to stay. They can only be lifted out by the waves, and they don't know their life or death. Even if you have a talent, it is useless if you can't show it. Is the goal our ship? Orui said in hindsight. I thought Cloud Shinobi is so powerful, but now it seems to be just a group of ducks listening to bluff. Even the most basic element of naval warfare, the principle of protecting the ship, is not understood. I think it is a group of silver gun candlesticks, which is not useful. Yes, exactly. Seeing this scene, the captains couldn't help but ridicule proudly. Don't stop the artillery fire, and carry out multi-dimensional strikes at the same time, try to reduce their activity space. At this time, a majestic voice came from the back of the pirate ship. A dragon-head warship that I saw emerged from the pirate array. On the bow stood a strong man with his right arm bare. And beside him, a middle-aged man in Chinese clothes looked down on the audience. He gave the order just now. Yes, Master Captain. All the pirates looked at the man in the costume with fanaticism, and said excitedly, "Ha ha ha, the captain is here with his ninja troop. Brothers, go, give this group of Cloud Shinobi some color to see. Let them know that there is nothing great about ninjas. Yes, above the ocean, we are the real overlords, they are just a group of lambs to be slaughtered." The morale of the pirates suddenly became extremely high. Yuta. At this time, Urana, who was evading the detonating talisman projectile, heard Orui let out an angry roar. And his goal was the strong man standing on the battleship of the Dragon Head. Is that our goal, Yuta? Standing with the captain of the pirates, he seems to be doing a good job. No wonder these pirates refused to hand it over. Urana looked at the strong man Yuta, thinking like this in her heart. Nowadays, my chakra is not abundant. It is not difficult to solve so many people. However, trying to break through the past and grasp the goal is really a small problem. Although he didn't want to admit it, he had to admit. The warships of the pirates indeed have too many advantages in this vast sea. Moreover, the captain didn't seem to be very easy to deal with. "Oh Louis, you're still so reckless, is it useful to yell, 'Come and catch me if you have a kind'? But I don't think you have that ability. After all, you have always been just a simple-minded man. I heard that you were taught by a newcomer from a foreign village not long ago. It's really embarrassing. If I were you, I might have pleaded guilty to myself. At this level, it's a shame for Cloud Shinobi Anbu. This Yuta looks slender and strong, but his mouth is quite poisonous, and he seems to be a bit brainy. This has changed Urana's impression of him a lot. Asshole." Hearing these words, Oliu's hot temper couldn't be resisted, and he was about to rush up immediately. Stop. But immediately, he was stopped. And the person who stopped him was no one else, but Urana, Orui's enemy. "What do you mean, kid? Don't think you can point fingers at me." Orui looked at Urana fiercely and said. If Urana didn't give an explanation, he wanted Urana's good-looking expression. "What's the difference between you rushing to death at this time? You can catch Yuta by rushing over. No, you will only become the target of this group of warships. I know your defenses are strong, but without chakra you are nothing. There are so many battles in the future, do you plan to explain it here?" Facing Urana's unceremonious but incontrovertible words, Orai's angry eyes reddened, and he shouted, "What does it have to do with you, kid? Let me go." But just as he was about to break through forcibly, a blade of thunderlight was placed on Oliu's neck, making him stop. "It's Tianxin," he could only hear him say. "The words are rough but not rough. Ching Beast Olui, don't forget that we are a group." He glanced at Urana appreciatively, and then said, "Fire style class, water style class forward, target, warship ahead. The rest are waiting for the opportunity to tear open the pirate array and destroy the enemy." Yes, a group of Cloud Shinobi immediately made their own response. However, even if Oliu was angry, he didn't dare to violate Tianxin's order and had to step back. "Everyone, it's up to you. Want to use fire style to attack? No way. Assassinate the troops, you are also ready to let them know how good you are." At the moment Tianxin responded, on the Dragon Head battleship, the captain's man in costume also spoke to the pirates behind him. "There are probably 150 of these people, and they are all ninjas, and none of them are below Chunin's level. Yes, boss. This group of people licked their lips and said suddenly, like a group of bloodthirsty murderers. Yuta, you and I are ready to help at any time. Even if the other party has only 24 people, it is Cloud Shinobi after all. Don't underestimate it. The man in costume again ordered Yudian beside him, being quite cautious. Yudian nodded respectfully and said, understood, boss. Then he looked at the sea, with a cold smile at the corner of his mouth, and said, you guys want to chase me down, it's hundreds of years too early. Water style water rushing wave. On the Cloud Shinobi side, there are 3 ninja Kaien who will use water style. The next moment, in the sea below the pirate ship, a column of waves suddenly spewed out and hit the bottom of the pirate ship. Fire style fire flowing rain. The 4 Cloud Shinobi seals using water style, the sky suddenly turned red, and a fireball fell like rain. It's magnificent, but obviously the enemy won't let us succeed like this. Looking at the wandering ninjas rushing towards her side on the sea, Urana couldn't help but sigh. The killing intent on this group of people is simply condensed and scary. It's tricky. Urana's words of this are certainly not aimless. While being attacked, the pirates on the battleship also fought back. A powerful arrow, flying in, did cause a lot of trouble to them. Coupled with these wandering ninjas, the situation is indeed not optimistic. Chapter 31. Water Style Water Barrier. Among the wandering ninjas, someone released a defense to block the fireball attack from the sky. And boarded the battleship to ensure that the battleship was not damaged. The rest of the wandering ninjas attacked Urana and the others. Ninjutsu versus ninjutsu. Using magic to defeat magic, the division of labor is quite clear. Let's go. Cover for fire style class and water style class. Upon seeing this, Tianxin gave an order and took Urana and other idle ninjas to block these wandering ninjas. Brothers, the assassination has begun. Seeing Tianxin and the others rushed over, this group of wandering ninjas in charge of the attack suddenly showed excitement. Then, they met at the same time. Jaeyin shouted, water style mist shinobi technique. Jia Jia Jia, in the mist, feel despair. A huge mist instantly enveloped the surrounding area of several hundred meters. The sight of fire style class and water style class was immediately blocked, and the enemy's whereabouts instantly became unpredictable. When Tianxin saw this, he shouted, get closer together, don't give the enemy a chance. Oliui and the others didn't dare to neglect, and immediately moved closer together. Jia Jia Jia, it's useless, Cloud Shinobi. In this mist, we are the kings. But for Tianxin's arrangement, these wandering ninjas seemed quite disdainful. They proudly said, it's useless, in mist shinobi technique, we have an absolute advantage. No one can beat us in the mist shinobi technique, please accept the arrangements of fate obediently. Just give up, Cloud Shinobi, you have no chance to get out of this mist alive. But for the clamor of these people, Tianxin was not moved, but asked, Jinghong, you are from Kurigakure, is there a way to crack it? Although his sight was blocked by the fog, Tianxin couldn't see where Urana was, but his tone was quite calm. As the captain, if he panics, then the whole team will be over. Moreover, Urana cannot be far away. Either defeat the caster, or have enough wind-style technique to disperse this huge fog. Otherwise, you can only be enveloped by the fog. However, don't worry, it's just mist shinobi technique, not as powerful as you think. As long as you don't stand alone, and if you cooperate with Sensing Ninja, you can still mediate with the enemy. After listening to Urana's words, Tianxin immediately ordered the arrangement. But embarrassingly, when it was arranged on Urana, he happened to be alone. Urana seemed to be able to see Tianxin's embarrassment, and said, well, just place an order, and Captain Tianxin doesn't have to be embarrassed. It just so happens, I also want to see what these people's mist shinobi technique accomplishments are. After speaking, I heard a sound of breaking through the sky, and Urana's voice followed immediately, saying, one step ahead, everyone. Regarding Urana's unauthorized actions, Tianxin couldn't help but screamed, don't die, in his heart, and then ordered Orui and the others, follow the perception ninja and attack. And their conversation naturally fell in the ears of this group of wandering ninjas. I didn't expect Kurigakure's traitor to be among them, which is surprising. But so what, knowing how to deal with it and really dealing with it, but there is a big gap. That guy dared to rush towards us alone, he is really not afraid of death. Thinking that you are Kurigakure, can you run wild in Mist Shinobi technique? Brothers, show them some colors, dare to look down on Mist Shinobi technique so, we will let him understand what is absolute strength. In the mist, there were all kinds of clamors, anger and excitement. Understand. Jia, the killing has begun. Cloud Shinobi, from this moment, let you feel fear. This wandering ninja of about 80 people was divided into 16 teams and scattered around the fog and started hunting. In the fringe area of the fog, on the pirate ships, a group of pirates are also ready for battle. Beside them, there were 1 or 2 perception ninjas standing. They said, wait and listen to my order to attack, understand? This group of pirates immediately said in unison, understood. This set of attack methods allowed them to be invincible, and no one could fight against them. And they also firmly believe that it will be the same this time. Urana here, feel the fear, absolutely suppressed by strength. Humph, let's see who is afraid and who is suppressed by strength. Listening to the clamor of the crowd in the mist, Urana couldn't help but put a playful smile on her mouth. Water-style Mist Shinobi technique. He said in such a low voice. He released 1/10 of the Mist Shinobi technique, allowing himself to have enough perception. At this moment, Jia, kid, since you came to die by yourself, then we're welcome. In the mist, 3 wandering ninjas rushed towards Urana from 3 different directions. Die. They firmly believe that Urana will never be able to withstand their 3-way attack. At that time, as long as he has any flaws, endless attacks will be waiting for him. He would only be in exhaustion and fear, unable to get away, and finally died tragically. Only, this time, they picked the wrong opponent. Puff, the 3 of them only saw a cold light passing by, and then a cold feeling came from their necks. Then, the blood blurred their vision. They hurriedly touched it, only to realize that a huge hole had been torn open in their necks. How can it be? The 3 people's eyes widened, their faces full of disbelief, and they sank weakly into the sea. And this scene was caught in the eyes of a wandering ninja not far away. Hiss. This person couldn't help taking a breath, and his eyes were full of horror. He had a sense of horror like an ice cellar, which made him tremble involuntarily. Then, he turned around and ran without even thinking about it. He must not be single. Otherwise, there is only a dead end. But, the prey that Urana was staring at had not yet been able to escape. He grinned in the direction of the person and said, it's not a good habit to face the enemy with his back. Then, puff, another icy light flashed, and the man sank into the sea with a scream. 1-hit kill. The 4 of Utaro were killed in seconds without even having the power to fight back. Hey, isn't it? What's wrong with this guy? It's a bit wrong. Why can he move freely in the mist? This can't happen. The wandering ninjas around immediately noticed the change here in Urana, and their faces were shocked. 4 of them died before they even started. Even though they were killing people, they were still frightened by Urana's horror and weirdness. There was a hint of withdrawal in their hearts. Don't be afraid, let's go together. No matter how good he is only one person. We will be able to hack the master to death with a dozen of us. At this time, there was a strength close to the special Jonin, and the blonde wandering ninja shouted. Then, he rushed to Urana first, and shouted, little devil, die. And just when this person rushed over, behind Urana, a ghostly voice also came, you're done. A thin, pale-faced man, holding a dangling kunai in his hand, was about to pierce Urana's neck. In front of him, the blonde ninja had also arrived. No matter how you look at it, Urana is dead, because it is impossible for him to take care of both attacks at the same time. Yoshi, it can be done. Die. When the surrounding wandering ninjas saw this scene, they all became excited, holding their breath and saying in their hearts. Flash. Accompanied by Urana's cold and indifferent words, another cold light flashed through the eyes of the wandering ninjas. Then, the ninja behind Urana and the blonde ninja in front of him, the expressions on their faces were directly frozen. Boom! Urana kicked out, blasting the 2 out like sandbags. The blonde ninja was caught by the wandering ninjas around, but his eyes were full of horror. On the neck, a bloodstain was rapidly expanding. Then, turning into a fountain, scarlet blood gushed out, blurring the sight of the wandering ninjas. How can, so fast? The blonde ninja uttered such an unwilling word, his head tilted and fell into the sea. Hiss. This group of wandering ninjas suddenly burst into flames, and cold sweat came out all of a sudden. Then, turned around and ran without even thinking about it. There is no chance of winning at all, it is impossible. Even this blonde ninja, who already has the ability to fight against the special Jonin, can't do it. Then they are just 4 of the Chunin level, how could they have a chance of winning? Only escape, there is still a ray of life. There is absolutely only a dead end in frontal combat. But, everyone, come here, it would be too ruthless to leave like this. Urana's voice suddenly sounded from behind these people, and everyone couldn't help but burst into flames. I don't want to die here. Quick, quicker, run faster, never die here. These people roared in their hearts. The strong desire for life caused them to explode at an extraordinary speed. It's fast, everyone, but it's a pity, it's not enough. Urana's voice came again like a bone maggot, but this time, there was no chance for these people to breathe. Puff. What? Do not want. After a scream that made the scalp numb, the mist suddenly fell into silence. So, who is next? Urana's voice sounded again, making her scalp numb like a devil. If you cooperate with this scarlet blood mist, it really feels a bit murderous. Don't be arrogant, kid. Let's go together. I don't believe that he can be defeated by one enemy. At this time, a calm voice came. Yes, that's right. Let's go together and let him know how good we are. Another voice sounded, echoing. Yes, let's go together. Boy, die. 100 responses. Shocking shouts suddenly erupted from the mist, and morale was high. Then, a group of people all besieged, killing intent boiling over. HMPH, it seems that you haven't understood the gap between us yet. Urana snorted, if that's the case, let you know what an assassination is. These people should never use Mist Shinobi technique. In Mist Shinobi technique, he is the real king. Base. The battle begins like this. However, before Tianxin and the others went to support Urana, a chilling voice rang out in the mist. Puff. Hey, crack. The sound of tearing the flesh continuously sounded in the increasingly scarlet mist. In the mist that I saw, there was a phantom like a god, no one could stop him, all the way. Behind him, the figures kept falling down, and the fog became more and more blood red. Tianxin immediately ordered everyone to stand by and did not act rashly. He said in his heart, is this the authentic Mist Shinobi assassination technique? It's terrible. Never fight him in the Mist Shinobi technique, otherwise, even I won't have a big chance of winning. And just when he was thinking about these things, in the mist, riots also began. Devil, this guy is the devil. Run, run away, we are not his opponents at all. A group of people, even killed by one person, broke into an army, scattered into a group. Mist Shinobi technique. Quickly unlock the Mist Shinobi technique. Ah! A wandering ninja screamed before he finished speaking and fell down. Urana's voice came again, untie. That would be boring, isn't it? In this mist, how suitable for hunting, how suitable for assassination. Such horrible words, Urana said like commonplace. Not to mention that the enemy is frightened, but Tianxin is waiting for the friendly army, and he can't help but feel chills in his heart. This, Lui and his teammates looked at each other, and their eyes were shocked. What kind of battle is this? This is a one-sided slaughter, and there is no fight back at all. They originally scolded Urana for being overwhelmed and prepared to support him. Is it possible to deal with so many enemies by one person? Don't be too arrogant, but now this situation is clearly told to them. Urana is not arrogant, he really has this strength. With one enemy and 100, it still has the advantage. What? Do not come. Do not. In the mist, the killing continued, and Tianxin did not let Orui and the others join in. In the current situation, let Urana play. Mist Shinobi technique, solve. Seeing that the remaining Mist Shinobi had no advantage at all, he quickly took time to release the Mist Shinobi technique. But when the scene in front of them was revealed, they couldn't help but shudder. The sea around me was scarlet, all floating corpses, disgusting. Kill, kill God. A wandering ninja looked at Urana, who was covered in blood, and said in horror. In just 2 minutes, there were more than 80 people, but at this moment there are only 12 people left, all of whom are at the special Jonin level. Maybe it was because of his strength that he survived. Guru. Upon seeing this, Oliu could not help but swallow droolingly, cold sweat broke out on his head involuntarily, and a look of horror appeared in his eyes. Killing God, this description is really appropriate. This record is really terrifying. This guy is too strong. This is his true strength. They looked at Urana as if they had met him for the first time. This Shira-like person is really the kind-looking Kira who talks and laughs with the old people in the village and is harmless to humans and animals. No connection at all. The pirates on the surrounding warships were all in cold sweat, and their faces were shocked, and fearful. Even breathing is slow. Too strong. That was more than 70 Chunin level masters, and the whole army was wiped out within a few minutes. This kind of enemy, will they really have a chance of winning? It was the captain who couldn't help showing a solemn look when he saw this scene. The speed of his subordinates' destruction was so fast that it was over before he had time to deal with it. Okay, Jinghong, great job. At this time, Tian Shin suddenly spoke out in appreciation. Then he yelled at the people behind Orui and others, in one go, break through the enemy's formation and kill the target. Rush. After all, Tianxin rushed out first and galloped towards Yudian. Facing this scene, Yuda couldn't help but back 2 steps in a cold sweat. He started to panic. Brothers, don't be frightened by appearances, stop them. Facing the attacking Tianxin and others, the captain spoke calmly. Then, he looked at Urana and shouted viciously, aim at that kid. He killed so many people, he is exhausted from thinking about it at the moment, it is your best target. Yes, the pirates responded in unison, and attacked Urana. It turned out to be like a chicken blood, and the shock, and fear just disappeared completely. What a powerful inspiration. After doing this, the captain said to Yudian, don't panic, the battle has just begun, and we still have an absolute advantage. Follow me. After saying that, he jumped out of the boat, and he actually made a seal in the air, shouting, summoning technique Haifeng Master. With only a bang, the sea surface under the captain's feet suddenly swelled. A stream-shaped creature like a slime appeared in front of Tian Shin and the others. Roar. The roar was like thunder, a fierce water bomb flew from his mouth to Tianxin and others. Careful. Upon seeing this, Tian Shin immediately reminded the people behind him, and dodged together. It's your turn, I will create a chance for you, you will assassinate. Upon seeing this, the captain said to Yuda, who was still full of lingering fears. Facing Captain Oscar's fierce gaze, even if Yudian was extremely resistant in his heart, he could only follow his fate. Therefore, behind you, there is a flaw. When Tian Shin and others dodged the attack of Haifeng Master once again, just after gaining a foothold. Yudian's cold voice suddenly sounded from behind them, making people feel chills. Not good. Tianxin suddenly yelled bad when he heard this voice, but it was beyond reach. The 2 cloud shinobi I saw had no time to react, so they wiped their necks and fell into the sea with a scream. Yuda, you fool. At this scene, Olui's eyes were red. It turned into a phantom in an instant and rushed in front of Yudian, punching out. Base. It's a pity that this blow didn't hit Yuda. Only kunai shot by Yuda to attack Orui was hit. After so many years, you are still as violent as ever, just like your stupid Raikage cloud shinobi. Yuda fell beside the captain, his mouth pursed with disdain. On the other side, Urana was constantly evading under the attack of a group of pirates. Fight, don't give him a chance to fight back. No matter what kind of killer he is, let's talk about it after exhausting his physical strength. Kill so many of us, pay the price for me. The pirates and the rest of the wandering ninjas shouted fiercely. Urana is not fake, but in the face of this continuous explosive attack, she can only temporarily avoid her edge. Therefore, the situation seemed a bit embarrassing. Oh Louis, you take a few people to support Jinghong, he is the person that Master Raikage values, don't let him die. At this time, Tianxin seemed to have seen Urana's plight and ordered. But the real reason for him to come back to Urana was because the captain was not easy to deal with. As a result, he wanted to break through the pirate formation in one effort, and his plan to capture Yuta didn't work. This was a helpless move. It's useless, no matter how you change your plan, it's useless. Your only way out today is death. When the captain saw this scene, he smiled confidently, and he said to the Master Haifeng below him, it's going to go. Roar. The owner of Haifeng roared, and he took it as a response. Then, like lightning on the sea surface, carrying the captain quickly rushed towards Tianxin and the others. Use the tsunami, the captain said to the owner of the sea. Hold head high, the owner of Haifeng replied loudly. Then, the sea suddenly waved violently, making Urana almost unsteady. I saw a wave of 5 meters high and surging, engulfing the mountains and rivers, pouring down towards Tianxin and them. Retreat. Seeing this scene, Tianxin quickly issued an order to retreat. This is not a level that can be head-on. Urana behind him couldn't help but change his face, and then dodge out quickly. Attacks in this range are too foul. He has only seen Hoshigaki Kisame with such a powerful amount of water production. Want to escape? It's useless. Yuta, lightning style prepares. Upon seeing this, the captain calmly confronted Yu Tiandao on the side. Yuta immediately closed the seal and shouted, lightning style emotion wave. The thunder lights suddenly shined above the sea, and Tianxin and their feet were covered with thunder and lightning in an instant, and there was no place to go. But there is nowhere to go, and they have no way to change the shape of their whereabouts. What? Even though as Cloud Shinobi village ninjas, they are experts in playing thunder and lightning, it does not mean that they will not be injured by thunder and lightning. Wind style 1,000 faces. At this time, while Urana and the others were paralyzed by thunder and lightning, the captain also sprayed out an attack wrapped in a fierce wind blade. Hey, die, no it's great, Cloud Shinobi. After all, it's just a mortal, how can it be better than our captain? Seeing this, the surrounding pirates couldn't help but proudly express their solidarity. Puff puff, in the face of the wind blade that hit, apart from Kai Tianxin, Urana, Orui and other 14 people in time avoided the attack. The rest of the people all screamed, and they fell on the surface of the sea with blood flying, mutilated, and many organs floating. Everyone, it's time to kill, just charge with me. The captain said to the 12 remaining wandering ninjas again, strategizing. Yes, the wandering ninjas immediately responded, all eyes were aimed at Urana, and the fierce eyes made the scalp numb. Superior. At the moment the captain gave the order, the 12 wandering ninjas, like hungry wolves, all rushed towards Urana. The captain and Yudian once again rushed towards Tianxin and the others, aggressively and confidently. Upon seeing this, Tianxin dispatched Orui to support Urana, and took the rest to confront the captain. Urana here. Base. Urana raised the knife to block the fierce blow of the man in front of him, but couldn't help but secretly said in her heart, a lot of strength. I can only hear this human voice. Surrender, kid. You don't think you 14 have any chance of winning. Just as he said this, a cold voice came from behind Urana. Little devil, take your life. The attack on both sides is the same familiar scene. Urana was in danger, but there was no panic on his face. He looked up at the big guy in front of him, grinning, there is no chance. It's too early to say this. Base. After all, he suddenly shook the man in front of him. Then, twisting his body and stepping heavily, it turned into a light, passing by the person behind him. The first one, Urana said, quote question mark question mark question mark quote. A group of wandering ninjas looked dumbfounded when they heard the words, and had no idea what Urana meant. The wandering ninja who was shaken back felt that Urana was playing mystery. But just when he was about to rush to Urana again. Puff. The wandering ninja who passed by Urana suddenly had blood flying around his neck, and his body fell into the sea. For me, you guys. Urana grinned with white teeth showing, it's just a bunch of lambs. Kid, give me less arrogance. The bald-headed wandering ninja yelled in anger, and immediately rushed over. Lightning-style emotion wave. No one can see how Urana made the seal. The sea under his feet instantly thundered, and a fierce thunder and lightning spread to everyone's feet at the speed of light. Jump. The bald man and a group of wandering ninjas immediately jumped and avoided. Then, the bald man immediately began to seal the seal, as did the others, or when a hidden weapon appeared in his hand, he was about to attack. Urana, who listened, said again, it's too slow, everyone. Lightning-style thunderbolt technique. Another thunder and lightning appeared on Urana who was seen, and then it condensed into a meatball-sized thunderbolt and shot out. The people who jumped up just now suddenly became excellent targets. The bald-headed wandering ninja who rushed was no exception. How can it be? The moment he was hit, he thought so shocked in his heart. He made the seal before Urana, but Urana then came to take possession of it. How can the Jia Yin speed be so fast? Puff! A wave of cold light swept across, and several more bodies appeared on the sea. Hi, just kidding. That's a group of B-level rebellious people. Why is this guy so strong? The wandering ninjas who besieged Orui couldn't help showing horror when they saw this. B-level rebels are all Chunin, especially Jonin-level existences. But just now, in 5 rounds, 8 died at once. Do you want to be so scary? Isn't he not enough chakra? So energetic, is he still a human? It's a monster. I heard that you are going to kill me, so I'm not welcome. Urana looked at the remaining wandering ninjas, grinning with a very friendly smile, and said, as long as no one disturbs Urana. In particular, whether Jonin or Chunin is good, to him, they are just a flash. Unless Jonin appears, he is absolutely invincible. I'm on it. The moment the words fell, a wandering ninja with a special Jonin level immediately fell on the sea, with a long thin wound on his chest. Scatter. Seeing this scene, the remaining wandering ninjas couldn't help standing up with their hairs, their scalp numb, and they scattered around without thinking. But in the face of this situation, Urana smiled again. Is there a way to survive? Naive. When he saw him, he slapped a palm on the water and shouted, Bingliu Karma Curse. A black line quickly dissipated from the water surface, wrapping around the body of the wandering ninja who had no time to react. Of course, there were also 2 or 3 people who reacted quickly and retreated in time. But, flash, Urana's cold voice and blade have become their merciless killer. Move me. The wandering ninjas who were entangled in the curse faced the killing god Urana. Their bodies were cold and horrified. Nervous, impatient, wanting to break through the shackles of this curse. If you don't break free, there is definitely only death. But they don't want to die. Next, it's you. Urana turned around again, with a friendly smile on her face. No, do not want. The pupils of these people suddenly shrank into needles, with cold sweat and extremely resisting expressions. Death, never been so close to them. This feeling caused them to collapse. Please, I don't want. Puff. Their begging for mercy came to an abrupt end with a few splashes of blood. There were a few more floating corpses on the sea. Speaking of it, it's really thanks to someone who pushed me so far. Let me be completely outside the strike range of your pirate ship, so that they can only stand by and watch. At this time, Urana carried the knife and started to talk scornfully. The pirates who heard this were suddenly angry, but it was not over yet. Urana continued. Too careless, that person. Thinking that you have the upper hand, you can relax your vigilance. No, from the moment you let your guard down, you have already lost. Don't think that Cloud Shinobi Village can become the 5 Great Shinobi Village, it will be an embroidered pillow. The strategizing you thought was already full of loopholes and inferior. You don't really think that you have built a few boats. With a little brother, you can dominate the ocean. This sea is not as simple as you think, the frog at the bottom of the well. Kid. In the distance, when the captain heard these words, his always indifferent face finally turned gloomy. That, in Urana's mouth, isn't it him? Ha ha ha, what you said is really good, Jing Hong, I started to look at you differently. Tian Xin intervened at this time, and saw that he and the other members were all embarrassed with water stains, and there were still a lot of injuries on their bodies. Obviously, this Haifeng owner made them suffer a lot. But he still smiled and said, I thought you would not be able to deal with so many people, so I let the offensive and defensive team of Orui assist you. Unexpectedly, I still underestimated you. It took only a minute to kill the enemy. This is something that even I can't do. Do you still have the strength to fight? Do you want to feel the taste of capturing the thieves and the king? Tianxin sent Urana an invitation to fight the captain together, but if Urana agreed to it, then he would not be Urana. Well, Captain Tianxin, forgive me, I don't have the strength to fight anymore, let Orui assist you. Urana said with a vacant look. As he said, he coughed twice, indicating that he could no longer fight. Oh Louis, you cover him, the rest are waiting, we're on. Tianxin didn't force Urana anymore. His record is already amazing enough, and if he gets another record, then his captain's face won't be much lighter. Then, it's time to start the battle between us. Tianxin looked at the captain in front of him, with awe-inspiring light in his eyes. The captain roared with a gloomy face, 1,000 battles, kill that kid for me. Qianzhang is the name of one of the wandering ninjas in charge of defense on the pirate ship. He is an old man. Yes, thousands of battles led him, so he took 15 people and rushed to Urana again. Don't think it's over, Cloud Shinobi guy, I'm not defeated so easily. Your lightning style has nothing to do with the owner of the sea. How are you going to fight me on this sea? After that, the captain commanded the Haifeng master below him, use the tsunami. Puff. He had just finished saying this, Haifeng master's body had unexpectedly been cut through a huge cut. Moreover, blood came out unexpectedly. Of course, the captain who sensed the danger in advance had already stepped back. But, how can it be? The captain looked at the wound on Haifeng master's body in shock, and then looked at Urana who caused all this with a face full of disbelief. He was emotionally out of control and asked, the owner of Haifeng is a summoning beast with the power of hydration. Even lightning style has no effect on him, why can your knife hurt it? Then, he saw the curse slowly receding from Haifeng master, his face was very ugly and said, it turned out to be a sealing technique, where did you learn this level of sealing technique? Hey, want to know? Urana smiled suddenly when he heard the words, showing a mischievous expression, but it's a pity, I won't tell you. He said in his heart, hydration technique. Humph, you still have to admit it when you encounter sealing techniques. I said so much nonsense just now. The purpose is to secretly cast a binding flow curse to restrain your summoning beast. Moreover, I secretly controlled the summoning beast with the bound flow karma curse. I still don't know the level, Master Captain. At this time, the captain obviously reacted and said, you guys said that on purpose just now. It's all about letting me relax my vigilance so that I can secretly use the sealing technique to restrain Haifeng master, right? After hearing this, Urana joked, you believe even the enemy, Master Captain, do you want to be so naive? I said I won't fight anymore, do you really believe that I won't fight anymore? Why are you so obedient? Hearing this, the captain squeezed his fist in anger, and his eyes were blazing, wishing to slash Urana 1,000 times. Boom, the badly hit Haifeng master bang disappeared, and the captain and Yuta suddenly lost huge assistance. This made the captain and Yutian's expression serious, and the situation was extremely unfavorable for them. In other words, as long as Yuta is solved, the task can be completed, right? Urana looked at Yuta, who was agitated by the captain, and grinned. Yes, are you sure? Tian Shin said with blazing eyes. He has no opinion on Urana's backlash, and he won't be annoyed. Because the surprise he brought was really helpful. So many people besieged the captain and Yuta just now, but because of the existence of the owner of the sea, they could not help the captain at all. The sea owner can manipulate the water at will, launch a tsunami, sea uzumaki, or various current attacks, which is impossible to prevent. Even with Tianxin's strength, he couldn't help but feel strenuous. But now, the things that made them strenuous no longer exist. They can concentrate on dealing with the enemy. Knowing this a long time ago, this guy should be dealt with first, his existence is really a huge threat. The captain also looked at Urana and said unwillingly, forget it, Captain, this time I really don't have any chakra left. Urana shrugged, then stepped back, and said, I'll leave them to the captain. I'll take care of the miscellaneous fish. If you grab the limelight again, you will really be jealous. Be a man, don't be too pushy. Especially he is still an outsider. He is so good, doesn't it seem that Anbu like Cloud Shinobi is rubbish? Even if they are really rubbish, they can't be embodied too obviously, it's not. Let's go. Tianxin couldn't help frowning slightly, a little dissatisfied with Urana's sudden abandonment of attack. How can you be a man again and again? If you don't do it, is there someone like you? But let alone, while dissatisfied, he was slightly relieved. If Urana joins again, he and his men will really lose their faces. Yutian couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he heard this. He really didn't have the confidence to defeat Urana. But for others, that's not necessarily true. Not far behind Tianxin and them, at Orui. Assholes, go to hell. Oliu was covered in terrifying thunder and lightning, and smashed all directions among the wandering ninjas waiting for him. These wandering ninjas are all Chunin level. Except for 1,000 battles that are trickier, no one can pose a threat to him. Therefore, his talents can be fully utilized, and the excitement of the battle scene is not inferior to Urana. No hope, this guy is too strong. Escape, we are not opponents at all. A group of wandering ninjas said in a crushing disintegration. I thought that with the exception of the tiger Urana, the rest of Cloud Shinobi shouldn't be feared. But who knows, this Orui fought more violently than Urana, and they weren't opponents at all. Don't talk about dealing with Urana, now they are even Orui. Urana here, everyone, don't be so nervous, I'm not a monster. He landed on one of the ships, watching the crowd of pirates even panicked, waved his hand. Guru, but how could the pirates not be nervous? They faced Urana, but killed a dozen Master Devil in 1 minute. Stop talking nonsense, go to hell. Strike first to be strong, then start to suffer. A crowd of pirates swarmed towards Urana. That's a shame, everyone. Facing the rushing pirates, Urana snapped her fingers helplessly. In the next moment, a violent thunder and lightning directly enveloped all the pirate ships on the sea. What? In the thunder and lightning, heart-piercing screams sounded one after another, and the pirates were struggling desperately amidst the thunder and lightning. Many people want to jump into the sea to escape. But unfortunately, the sea is also thunder and lightning, even more powerful. It can be said that God enters the sea, and there is no place for life. Lightning-style thunder formation, Urana said. Then, it's time to watch the show. Urana sat in the boat, watching the battle on the sea, and said. It's not bad, it feels like watching others fight. Urana returned to her sword in its sheath, with her head resting on her hand, lying in a semi-arc shape, turning into a spectator. The captain's strength is close to Jonin's level. Without the assistance of Haifengju, facing opponents like Tianxin, he fell into a decline in a few rounds. Then, after another dozen rounds, after Oliu violently defeated 1,000 battles, he also lost to Tianxin. I'm not reconciled. Yuta was also killed by a group of Cloud Shinobi Anbu with 1,000 swords. But the most unwilling person should be the captain. His eyes were wide open, his chest was bleeding, and he lay on the sea intermittently. I knew. I just handed over Yuta directly, so, not to fall into this way. That guy, he said, really right, I do, just a frog at the bottom of the well. After all, he died of anger. Captain, it's wonderful. When Tianxin and others arrived on the boat where Urana was, Urana immediately stood up and praised. On wonderful, no one can compare to you. You are very good, I hope you can be recognized by Lord Hokage as soon as possible. People like you flowed out of Kurigakure. It's really a great loss for Kurigakure. Tianxin looked at Urana with uncertain eyes and said. He was praying in his heart, God, bless him not a spy. If he really joins Cloud Shinobi Village, within a few years, he will definitely become an important force for my Cloud Shinobi Village. Maybe the hope for the revitalization of Cloud Shinobi Village in the future lies in him. The backbone of Cloud Shinobi Village so far is only one Darui. And now, here comes Akira, he is only 17 years old, and the future can be expected. The captain is absurd. Urana smiled, and then said in her heart, my little problem of trying my best may need to be changed. It can't be so good in Cloud Shinobi Village. Otherwise, it might be counterproductive or not necessarily. He couldn't help but reflect on his behavior, and then reluctantly discovered that in this battle, he was still too good. Almost the existence that played a role in the battle, even Tianxin, as the captain, couldn't compare with him. Urana's thoughts, Tianxin and others didn't know, but the gazes that Orui and others looked at him were not so bad. On the contrary, some recognized him. Cloud Shinobi Village, the most recognized as the strong. As long as you are strong enough, you can get enough respect. Everyone rested for a few hours, then set off on their way home. In a few hours, a team of ninjas from Konoha village appeared here. When I saw that this pirate tribe had actually been destroyed, I couldn't help being surprised. It was Cloud Shinobi. How did they come here? What are they trying to do? Suddenly, the Konoha Shinobi people became vigilant. Cloud Shinobi suddenly crossed the border and appeared within the Fire Country. Could they have any conspiracy? Especially at this critical moment. Inside, the Uchiha clan was quite restless, and suddenly there was a trace of Cloud Shinobi village outside. This must not be a coincidence. Check carefully, and then report the matter to Master Hokage in detail. You must never relax your vigilance on Cloud Shinobi Village, the leader of the ninja said in a cold voice. Then a ninja used the Konoha Shinobi bird to pass on the situation here to Konoha Village. And this news was also known by the ninjas who were arranged by the Nation of Water near the Nation of Fire. In an instant, because of this operation at Cloud Shinobi Village, the three great nations of Water, Fire, and Thunder all began to be wary of each other. If you let Urana know. Because of an ordinary task, the Konoha Shinobi directly connected it to the Uchiha clan, fearing that they would laugh out loud. He will definitely say, "I'm so nervous, everyone." Single quote. However, he did not know. After returning to Cloud Shinobi Village, he was put on 2 days off. Of course, he is not slacking off, working hard to earn reinforcement points. And while he was earning reinforcement points, Raikage's office. This guy's record is really so terrible. After listening to Tianxin's mission report, 4th Raikage couldn't help being taken aback, especially after describing Urana's record. A group of special Jonin killed, Chunin had no strength to fight back, and turned the tide of the battle with one hand. With this kind of strength, Kurigakure gave him the title of B-level rebel. Let him come, it is also A-level, no matter how dangerous it is, S-level is not a bad idea. He has a sense of surprise when he finds the treasure. Master Raikage, if you subdue this person, you will definitely add a solid arm. It is really a great fortune to my Cloud Shinobi Village. Therefore, you need to be more careful, lest it is a spy that Kurigakure deliberately released. Darui next to 4th Raikage said. He naturally understands things Tianxin understands, and he naturally knows the great significance of the talent Urana to Cloud Shinobi Village. In the original book, he is known for his calmness and wisdom. He has a virtue with Kakashi and is a very difficult opponent to deal with. Darui, don't you worry that he grows up and takes your place. 4th Raikage couldn't help but joking. I always respect the strong in Cloud Shinobi Village. If my strength is not as good as him, I deserve to be robbed of the limelight and position. However, I won't admit defeat either. Master Raikage trusts me so much, I can't shame you, I have confidence in the strength of self-confidence. Now Darui is only 17 years old, the same age as Kira, who Urana pretends to be. Listening to him so confident and determined, 4th Raikage couldn't help laughing out loud and said, "Go and fight him, and see how you two are in strength. Darui, if you want to grow up, you have to fight more powerful people." 4th Raikage patted Darui on the shoulder, placing deep hopes on him. 4th Raikage is actually quite helpless. In addition to high hopes for Darui, there is no other person he can have high hopes for. Although Cloud Shinobi Village is powerful, not all shinobi villages are like Konoha Village, and there are many talents. Therefore, just like the 3 ninja villages of rock, mist, and sand, there is a great shortage of talents. So far, only Darui has good potential and is worthy of use. Understood, Lord Raikage. Hearing this, Darui immediately showed a smile of joy. Don't look at his indifferent appearance, but in his heart, he couldn't help it for a long time. Challenging the strong is his favorite thing. Now Darui hasn't got Lan escape yet, but he already has the Black Thunder secret technique in the original book. Although young, his strength is not inferior to that of Jonin-level ninjas. He is very much looking forward to what kind of surprises Urana can bring to him. Let's take a look too, let me witness the strength of that kid with my own eyes. 4th Raikage got up and said to Tianxin. Tianxin walked happily. As his subordinate, Urana was so talented, and his face was quite bright. Even if Urana has not yet been truly recognized by Cloud Shinobi Village. Urana's house. Oh, a fight with you. Why? When Darui knocked on Urana's door and explained his intentions, Urana refused without even thinking about it. This made Darui directly confused. Why Urana doesn't follow the routine at all. Being challenged by him means having the opportunity to enter the sight of Lord Raikage. This is how many opportunities Cloud Shinobi can think of after sharpening their heads. But Urana refused directly. Is there anything more outrageous than this? No. Do you know who I am? My name is. Darui was about to introduce himself when he was interrupted by Urana. He said, Darui, the man praised by 4th Raikage as the left arm and right arm, was recognized by 3rd Raikage and allowed the Cloud Shinobi genius with the word, thunder, to be inscribed on his arm. Hearing what Urana said, Darui was even more confused. Since Urana knows herself, why reject herself? Don't you deserve to challenge him? This is ridiculous. Challenging you can't bring me any substantial benefits, such as small money and the like. Don't tell me anything that will be noticed by Master Hokage, you will be famous. I don't really care about these things. After all, can that thing be eaten as a meal? Can it make my life a lot better? Furthermore, Master Hokage noticed this problem. Do you think Master Hokage will not be noticed by my identity? So don't talk about the ones that are not. There is no practical benefit, why should I waste time? Isn't it good for him to practice at home? Urana looked at Darui, who was dumbfounded by herself and couldn't say anything, and said, is there anything else? If it's okay, I won't save my meal, please go back. With that, I must close the door. But at this moment, a sturdy arm stopped Urana. Slow. A fight with him, I will give you 200,000 yen and give you a better place to live, how about? Urana couldn't help but frown when she heard the words and opened the door again. He doesn't need to look at his face to know who the person is. With such a strong arm, such a violent breath, who else can anyone besides Fourth Hokage? 500,000. Urana bargained without raising her head. Hokage can't come, and if the money is not in place, everything is forbidden to talk about. He is a realistic person, he wants to live. Do not accept picture cakes. Hokage 400,000, no more. Urana then looked up at Hokage and said, 45,000 yuan, a deal. Good, deal. Then he grinned. You are the first one who dares to bargain with me. Aren't you afraid that I will wear shoes for you when you are on duty? Urana's expression did not change at all, and said, the mission is a mission, that's a business matter. Now it's a private matter, that's different. What's more, if Master Hokage is just a little bit tired, then it won't be Hokage. The Fourth Hokage who said this was an instant laugh, and he said, I found that I am more and more interested in you. Let's go to the training ground. Fourth Hokage scanned Urana, and Darui glanced at the two of them, and said. Behind Fourth Hokage, Tianxin gave Urana a thumbs up. I heard that Darui is going to compete with the Kira who recently joined the village. Maybe it's a battle worth seeing, do you want to check it out? What, there is such a thing, walk around, go and see, how can you miss such a wonderful thing? Darui would take the initiative to challenge others. Hey, it's interesting, let's go and see where this Kira is. 1 past 10, 10 past 100. It only takes more than 10 minutes. Almost all the ninjas in the village knew that Darui was going to compete with Kira, the incarnation of Urana. Therefore, when the two came to the competition location, it was already crowded with Cloud Shinobi watching the excitement. Allah, I know this is the case. That's why I hate this kind of open battle. It's uncomfortable being watched like a monkey. Urana grabbed her head and entered the competition location. After taking a long breath, she looked at Darui and said, then, let's start. In an instant, Urana's state went from being lazy to serious. This rapid change made Cloud Shinobi onlookers surprised. The response speed is so fast, it is worthy of being the person who was actively challenged by Darui, it really has a little way. What a terrifying breath, it's as fierce as a peerless magic weapon, it's not to be looked at directly. This is Kira, Kurigakure B-rank rebel. Couldn't it be Kurigakure who made a mistake? B-rank rebel has this breath. You are afraid of teasing me. The thoughts in the hearts of Cloud Shinobi who were watching were different, but they all had a new understanding of Urana in an instant. At the moment Urana started talking, Darui drew his sword and rushed over. Moreover, 3 figures appeared at the same time, coming from 3 different directions, making it difficult to distinguish which deity is. Appeared, it's Yunliu Sanriwaisian. The surrounding Cloud Shinobi exclaimed in excitement. They looked at Urana expectantly again, and said, so, how does he deal with this trick? If he can't cope with this trick, then he will lose. This battle may be over like this. In the face of the expectation of Cloud Shinobi, Urana just said in a low voice, flash. In the next instant, Darui felt a chilling tingling sensation. He couldn't help but tensed, and he quickly blocked him before he even thought about it. Puff, bass, the 2 voices sounded together. One of the Darus whom I saw was forced to retreat, the blade in his hand was still humming, but the other 2 disappeared. It's a fast knife, it's just like light, it's too late to react. Can't even Darui have the upper hand? It's really strong, this guy. Cloud Shinobi around him couldn't help being surprised when he saw this. It was the first time that they saw Darui's 3 Sun Moon Slash, and it was destroyed head-on. I'm afraid this is not inferior to the White Cold Light, right? Cloud Shinobi whispered. He just mentioned it casually, the speaker was unintentional. But this sentence was heard by Fourth Hokage, and the listener was mindful. He couldn't help squinting his eyes, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. White Cold Light, let alone, it looks like it. He whispered in his heart like this. Back to Darui, base. He was knocked out, and he didn't have time to react. Urana was like a tiger, swinging his knife and approaching again. Aha! Darui hurriedly responded that he was not an opponent at all, so he was forced out again. Urana approached again. Darui couldn't help feeling numb when he saw this, and used the instant technique to dodge out. But Urana's speed is too fast. The moment Darui dodged, a hole was left in him. How fast, your knife! Darui appeared from the other side, touched the opening in his chest, and exclaimed. You are not bad, so far, you are the first person who can get away from me. Urana was also very humble, and then rushed to Darui fiercely again. Lightning style Black Madara. Seeing that swordsmanship is no match for Urana, a black thunder and lightning flashed out of Darui's body. Even Urana felt the danger, and he said in his heart, he must be stopped, otherwise it will be absolutely troublesome to deal with. Illusory technique Jingni technique. He shouted, then glared at Darui. But Darui was not a simple person, and when he saw this, he closed his eyes and burst out chakra, completely out of the control of illusion. Then, he immediately distributed the thunder and lightning that had just condensed, and then wrapped up and went to Urana, not giving Urana a chance to attack. Lightning-style thunder pillar wall. Facing the surging thunder and lightning, Urana felt the violent danger, and quickly released her defensive ninjutsu to block her. The reaction was really fast, but unfortunately, this guy still has to lose. Yes, Darui's Black Thunder, ordinary lightning style can't defend it. The surrounding Cloud Shinobi sighed as he looked at Urana, who was already wrapped in Black Thunder. Is it really going to lose? Will that guy be defeated so easily? Hearing this, Tien Shin next to Fourth Hokage thought in his heart. Boom! When the wall of the thunder pillar collided with Darui's Black Thunder. A dazzling light of thunder burst out of it, making it difficult for the Black Thunder to advance, completely unable to break through. 2 lightnings, one white and one black, entangled each other. Then it disappeared evenly, and no one can do anything about it. Hiss! Seeing this scene, the onlookers Cloud Shinobi couldn't help but breathe in surprise. Hey, even Darui's Black Thunder can be defended. No, isn't there anything weird about this guy's lightning style? That is the powerful lightning style that Third Hokage recognizes. It is far more powerful than the ordinary lightning style, and he can completely block it. Unbelievable, this guy is also a monster. There are not only the onlookers Cloud Shinobi, but also Darui. Unexpectedly, my Black Thunder can't do anything to you, your strength is beyond my imagination. In the usual battles, his opponents may not be able to survive the use of Black Thunder, and they have already lost. Moreover, even if he used the Black Thunder until he used it, it was impossible to stop the Black Thunder. As expected to be the man recognized by Third Hokage, the Black Thunder method is really powerful. Urana shook her numb arm and said, if this is the case, then it's my turn. Lightning style. Urana began to seal, but Darui laughed, and then rushed like a cheetah, and said with a smile, who would stand obediently and let you fight, but he won't give you the opportunity to seal. Is it? But to Darui who rushed, Urana also smiled, you may not know anything about my speed. Lightning style emotion wave, only halfway through Darui. He saw Urana's hands as if they were hanging open, and after a phantom, an astonishing lightning package was released from him. This white thunder and lightning, fierce and concise. And the speed is so fast that it doesn't give people a chance to breathe. How can it be so fast? Darui couldn't help but shudder, and he didn't have time to think, so he quickly used the thunder clone to dodge out. People who were frightened by the speed of Urana's printing, and the surrounding Cloud Shinobi. Is it still a human? How many years does it take to be single to practice this kind of hand speed? We ninjas, can we really have this speed of printing? They are skeptical about this. Woo. On the edge of the battlefield, Darui had just appeared. I saw Urana's smiling face, constantly magnifying in his eyes. Hiss. He was covered with sweat, his pupils shrank, and he covered his head with his hands without even thinking about it. Boom. He was blown out like a broken kite, but he couldn't help but spurt out a mouthful of blood. It's not over yet, Darui, don't let your guard down. At this time, Urana reminded him very friendly again. Lightning-style thunder formation. When he saw another phantom seal, he stretched his finger to the sky and said, "Fall." Boom. The sky above the battlefield suddenly brightened, and a thick-armed thunder engulfed the roar of the ears, and went straight to Darui with a mighty force. Hey hey hey, isn't it, is this killing me? Darui couldn't help cursing in his heart, and his body was extremely tight. The black thunder reappeared and turned into a moderate cheetah roaring towards the crazy thunder. Boom. The earth trembled, and the dazzling light and the terrifying thunder and lightning spread at the same time, causing the surrounding cloud shinobi to retreat quickly. Black and white thunder and lightning have terrifying tearing power, bombarding the surrounding land frantically, with amazing power. The movement continued for 10 seconds before it dissipated. Unfolding in front of everyone is a ruin with a range of tens of meters. Darui was embarrassed, and there was still thunder and lightning on his body. At the other end is Urana, who is in a red enchantment, safe and sound. Which is higher and lower is already obvious. Even Darui lost. What's more, the gap is so obvious. Cloud Shinobi said in disbelief. Although I don't want to admit it, the reality is indeed like this. This guy is really strong. Another Cloud Shinobi reluctantly accepts this fact. When the enchantment dissipated, Urana looked at Darui and said, "Do you want to continue?" "No, I'm just taking humiliation if I go on, I lost." Darui surrendered quite simply. In fact, he doesn't want to admit defeat. Swordsmanship is no better than Urana. The secret black thunder is only equal to Urana. The defense is not as high as Urana, and the odds of winning are too small. Coupled with Urana's appalling speed of not printing, he didn't see much hope of victory. Then let it go. If you continue, I won't have much power to fight anymore. Urana picked up a cheap fluke. But Darui did not believe what he said, nor did the onlookers Cloud Shinobi. He obviously still has the power to fight again. The old man is so bad. In Urana's heart, although I won, it was only with a weak advantage in all aspects. If you are stronger, I will have to fight him attrition. I can't win with absolute advantage like this. Darui is very strong, this is no doubt. His illusion and proud swordsmanship were all defended by him. These two items are enough to prove his strength. After all, there are too many people who can't stop him. Then the battle is over. At this time, 4th Hokage personally announced the end of the battle. He patted Darui's shoulder and encouraged, "Don't be discouraged, keep working hard. You are still young, and the future can be expected." "Of course, Lord Hokage." Darui replied firmly when he heard the words. He will not be depressed by a failure. "Go away, everyone." 4th Hokage dispersed the crowd again, then looked at Urana, with an unpredictable expression in his eyes. "Kurigakure has indeed missed an incredible talent. A talent like you is just a B-level traitor, I think it's amazing." After saying these two inexplicable words, 4th Hokage left. "Next time, I will definitely become stronger, and I won't lose to you so easily." Before Darui left, he swore to Urana like this. "Urana, the same with me, I won't give you a chance to catch up." He also believes that this matter will immediately become a reality. But what do those two words of Hokage mean? What does it mean? Kurigakure has missed such a talented person, and someone like you is actually a Class B rebellion, I feel magical. As she walked down the road, Urana couldn't help but frown and thought. Wait, is it possible? Suddenly, a bold idea popped up in his head, and it irresistibly occupied his entire brain. My identity is exposed. Apart from this possibility, he really couldn't think of other possibilities. No, it won't. There is no omission in Anbu, and I haven't done anything to reveal my identity. Apart from the fact that this mission is more conspicuous, there are no glorious deeds, how could it be exposed? Urana firmly believes that she hasn't been exposed yet, otherwise, why didn't Hokage just take him directly? That is to say, although I haven't exposed it, I have already aroused Raikage's suspicion. That's why he said something like this. Then what is the basis for my suspicion? My fighting style has changed. If there is anything that will arouse suspicion, then there is only swordsmanship. Urana whispered, slowly approaching the answer. If this is the case, then I am not too worried. Swordsmanship is too similar, it's easy to explain. Maybe because of this, Raikage didn't control me on the spot. Yes, it should be like this. Otherwise, he has doubts, I should be controlled. The closer to the answer, the less doubts in Urana's heart, and the more stable her heart. In that case, come on, Master Raikage. As long as I don't reveal a critical flaw, even if you suspect it, it's useless. However, just in case, we still have to increase our strength as soon as possible. Only in this way can we have the capital to remain unchanged and respond to changes. Thinking of this, Urana immediately strode towards his home. And this scene naturally did not hide the eyes of Tianxin, who was secretly sent to monitor by Raikage. He said in his heart, Kira, don't let me down, otherwise, I will have to kill you myself. Back home, Urana began to swing a sword. At this time, Anbu and his party arrived and delivered 450,000 yen and a real estate contract. Thank you, Lord Raikage. Urana accepted it happily, and then respectfully sent away the line Anbu. It seems that the fate between us is over now. Urana glanced at the dilapidated house behind her, and said, there are a lot of mosquitoes in this house, which somewhat affected his cultivation. And there is a leak everywhere, but it hasn't rained all the time. Otherwise, Urana really has to feel what it means to say, the cloth quilt has been cold like iron for many years, and Jower is lying down and cracking. At the same time, Raikage office, are you sure there is nothing wrong with this Kira's memory? It really has nothing to do with White Hangwang. Fourth Raikage looked at the people in the Anbu intelligence class in front of him and asked seriously. Yes, Lord Raikage, we have absolute confidence on this point. The intelligence class person replied confidently. Then have you detected anything wrong with him? Fourth Raikage asked Tianxin again. Tianxin replied, no. Apart from his particularly diligent practice, he has no other abnormal behaviors. Weird, is it really that I am suspicious? His swordsmanship makes me think he looks like a White Cold Light, which is disturbing. But White Cold Light's fighting method is water style, and Kira is lightning style, there is still a difference. If Kira and Bai Hangwang are really the same person, it seems it would be difficult to have such a terrifying lightning style accomplishment. Able to fight against Darui's Black Thunder, his lightning style attainments can't be reached without a decade or 8 years of research and consideration. Lightning style, Fourth Raikage is professional, so he knows how difficult it is to have that horrible lightning style. What's more, the White Cold Water style is so strong, he doesn't think he can do it without putting all his body and mind into it. If Kira is really Urana pretending to be, then he will have to be more enchanting to have such a terrifying knowledge in water and lightning style. Fourth Raikage can't imagine it. Let's do this, your intelligence team will perform another memory check on Kira to make sure nothing is wrong. Tianxin, you send a few people to look up White Hangwang's recent movements. Remember, don't let Kira know about this. After you have confirmed the information on both sides, I will put him on the final test. If he can pass the test, I will officially accept him. In response to Fourth Raikage's order, the two nodded, and then backed out. Kira, don't let me down. Fourth Raikage murmured. It's rare to have a talent, but if it's an undercover, it's too disappointing. Cloud Shinobi Village is too short of talents. He didn't want to let go of any talent. Jinghong, come with us. Urana, who was about to move, was interrupted by the sudden appearance of Anbu. They are all people in Anbu, and naturally they are also called Urana by the code name of Anbu. Let's go. Looking at the two people who appeared in front of her, Urana said in her heart, is it coming so soon? I'm not very patient, Lord Raikage. The people of Anbu from the intelligence department came sooner than he thought. Sister, bless me, I hope these people under you have excellent skills. Otherwise, I will be exposed. Urana was also unable to determine whether the mnemonic seal in his mind could block the second inspection for him. Therefore, he can only pray now. Twilight hour. Jinghong, well, you can leave now. The pain in Urana's ninja's head turned away the eyes of everyone in the eye intelligence department. After confirming that these people's faces were not pretending to be indifferent, they nodded and left. It seems that there is no exposure. Urana thought so in her heart, and walked out of Anbu. As for the system, apart from Urana itself, no one else noticed its existence. Not even memory. Nothing about the system will exist. Back home, he fell asleep after falling out of bed, and his head was groggy, which made him lack the energy to do other things. Hokage office. Is there no abnormality? It seems that I might be suspicious. Putting down the information sent by the intelligence department, Fourth Hokage leaned back in the chair, his brows stretched slightly. Even if the information showed that Kira would use mist shinobi technique, he didn't think there was anything wrong. As a Kurigaker, it's no surprise that you can use mist shinobi technique. Then, just waiting for Tianxin's return, he can determine what to do with Urana. The next day, Urana was awakened by Duke's son. Even after a night of rest, his head still hurts, but this does not affect Urana's move. Fourth Hokage is quite interesting. The windows of this new house are bright and clean, open and transparent, with light and ventilation, and good sound insulation. The most important thing is that the decoration looks comfortable. After dealing with these trivial matters, it is already noon. There is a commercial street not far downstairs. There is no shortage of restaurants for eating. This is better than Urana's previous eating trips. Afternoon. Waking up after a nap, Urana came to Anbu on duty. As Anbu, unless there is a regular holiday. Otherwise, there is almost no free time, and they need their participation in various matters in the village. This gives Urana the feeling of being in Kurigaker. However, their captain Tianxin was not there, only an acting captain was leading them on missions. Sure enough, Anbu members are still on duty most of the time. Standing on the guard tower on the border of Cloud Shinobi Village, Urana thought, waving a sword. Not only kill the time, but also earn reinforcement points, kill two birds with one stone. Too hardworking, Jinghong, you make us very stressed. Not far from Urana, an Anbu under Tianxin joked. Don't think that Anbu speaks coldly. In fact, when they face insiders, they are still quite normal. There is no way, don't dare to slack off, otherwise I am afraid to live up to Master Hokage's expectations. Urana said something against his heart, making the other Anbu laugh out loud, and then just laughed off. They naturally wouldn't learn Urana to swing a sword, because they didn't feel that doing so had any effect on becoming stronger. Time, just like this, a week passed slowly. After Urana's unremitting efforts, in 7 days, he earned a total of 15 W strengthening points. As for gathering intelligence, there should be no more suitable place than Anbu. As a person of Anbu, Urana can get a lot of information without much effort. Night. When Urana got home, she sat cross-legged on the bed, and walked away with her mind communication system. Strengthening attributes. Speed, agility, energy. At the Jonin level, the number of points required for each attribute enhancement is 5 W, and the enhancement of the 3 attributes is just 15 W. The enhancement begins. This enhancement consumes 15 W enhancement points. The voice of the cold machinery of the system rang in Urana's mind. Then, his breath began to fluctuate, rising rapidly. Each strengthening is the process that Urana enjoys the most, and the warmth of this strengthening makes people a little bit stronger. 10 minutes later, if the enhancement is successful, the host can achieve the Jonin Invincible achievement after completing the enhancement of the power attribute. The sudden prompt of the system made Urana interested. He asked, what is the effect of achieving an achievement? System. Host will not generate any strength bonuses, nor will it receive any rewards. The system just gives a normal prompt for this, so that the host understands the level of its own strength. Urana directly committed a Byakugan after hearing this, and said in a disappointing voice, "Cut, I thought there was any special reward or bonus." Before his eyes, the system panel appeared. Host, Urana. Age, 12. Swordsmanship, Flash, Ninjutsu, Mist Shinobi Technique, Moisture Body Technique, Water Barrier, Water Gun Technique. Thunder Pillar Wall, Emotion Wave, Thunder Bullet Technique, Thunder Array. Enchantment, Silent Array, Perception Array, 6-column Flame Array. Sealing Technique, Bound Stream Karma Curse. Illusion, Jingani Technique, Golden Binding Technique. Weapon, Balian Taidao. Level, Jonin, Chunin, Special Jonin, Jonin, Elite Jonin, Shadow, Super Shadow, 6 paths. Strengthening point. 1000. My current strength should be better than most Jonin level people. Urana got up from the bed and walked into the bathroom, thinking like this in her heart. After the strengthening, the body discharged some filthy things, and the smell was a little big. Follow the prompts of the system just now. After strengthening the strength, you will be able to Jonin invincible. He already possessed 3 Jonin level attributes, and his strength wouldn't be too weak if he wanted to. At least it should be better than most Jonin level people. The level of strength should not be much different from that of Kakashi at this time. If the elite Jonin is 10, he should now reach 7.5. And the 4 items of Lasu Minjing, the specific meaning is strength. Starting with wrist strength and foot strength, it represents the strength of the body. Speed indicates the speed of the body, including reaction speed, thinking speed, printing speed, and attack speed, etc. Min indicates physical agility and the ability to cooperate with the body. Fine. It indicates the amount of chakra, the purity of chakra refinement, and chakra controls the precision. It feels powerful, so good. Soaking in the bathtub, Urana thought very happy. The stronger he is, the more he can control his own destiny, and in this Cloud Shinobi village, he has more hope of survival. The next day, I haven't seen you for a day. How do I feel that your spirit is completely different? Is it my illusion? It's another day on duty, said one of Urana's companions. That must be your illusion. I am not the same, I am obviously as good as yesterday. Urana shrugged and said. Then, she started to swing her sword again. In this regard, a lot of people have already taken offense. The humanity said, Jing Hong, your patience is so good. Swing the sword so boringly every day, I can always be happy. If I might not be able to hold on for a few days. There was some admiration in the tone. That's why Jing Hong's strength is so strong, and you always only have this strength. Hearing that, an Anbu wearing a dog head mask interjected, joking about the duo. Cut, you are really disappointed when you talk. The man widened Anbu, the dog's head mask, and walked to the other end of the guard tower. It's time to change defense. Woo! Suddenly, there was a rapid and sharp siren in the distance. The people who were still joking with Urana just now gathered together and their eyes became extremely indifferent. The acting captain also appeared in front of them, saying, It's the prison who asks for help. Jing Hong, Guiying, you guys will come with me to support, and the rest will stay at the guard tower. Set off. Without any sloppiness, Urana was forced to face the task again and was about to fight with people. Block them, don't give up. Everyone, hold on, reinforcements are coming soon. They must not be allowed to escape, otherwise, the village and the people will definitely be threatened. At the gate of Cloud Shinobi Village Prison, an Anbu shouted loudly. In front of him is a group of criminals who seem to be extremely vicious, and their eyes are full of madness and fierceness. And Anbu, who was fighting against this group of criminals, was not an opponent at all, and was constantly forced to retreat. Block us. Is it really shameful, thinking that just because of this bunch of garbage, you want to block our footsteps? Lightning-style freak thunder bomb, open it for me. At the front of this group of criminals, a very burly man grinned. Then, the whole body was wrapped in violent thunder and lightning. Woo! When he saw him, he took a heavy step and turned into a sharp arrow, hitting the Cloud Shinobi protection ring hard. Suddenly, the people of Cloud Shinobi Anbu turned their backs on their horses, and a group of people were knocked out like broken kites. The protective circle was suddenly knocked open by a huge hole. Brothers, punch, freedom is here. Seeing this, the man immediately charged out again and led a group of criminals behind him towards the gap. Oh, the criminals gathered to respond, shouting loudly. Boom, puff, what? In the face of these vicious criminals, the Anbus patrolling near the prison are completely insufficient. In just 10 seconds, it was completely broken. Jia Jia Jia, the sea is broad, labor and capital are free. The big man laughed triumphantly, and then rushed out of the prison door. When the other criminals saw this, they rushed out one after another, not staying in this prison for a long time. They have had enough of life in this prison, and they don't want to face the ninjas in Cloud Shinobi Village, and they don't want to face the Tyrannosaurus fourth Raikage. Therefore, you must not stay for a long time. Lei, Yingda, people, genus, nothing, can. The previous Anbu who took the lead in the charge was already lying in a pool of blood, with more air intake and less air, and he lived within a few minutes. Around him, there are a group of Anbu members lying. Some are already cold and their bodies are distorted, and some still breathe, and they are also terrifying disability. There are almost no complete people, shocking. Brothers, make a sensation as much as possible and attract the attention of the ninjas in the village. If you can trust me, go to the trapped dragon cave. I remember the second tail Jinchuriki was sealed inside. If he is released, it will definitely relieve us a lot of pressure. The big guy saw a crowd of people behind him, his eyes rolled, and he said slyly. There is such a saying. Ha ha ha, well, thank you for your enlightenment. Someone immediately carried out this idea, which made the smile on this big man's face even brighter. To the east of Cloud Shinobi Village is the Ministry of Materials and the rich residence area. If you want to cause a bigger sensation, you can try it there. He said again, with a rather enthusiastic feeling. So that's it, thank you elder brother for your advice. Without you, we might not be able to get out for the rest of our lives. We will go, and wait until we bring you good news. Hearing that, another group of people went ahead. Seeing this scene, the big man couldn't help laughing in his heart. Idiot, I said casually, you actually believed it. Although the information I said is true, whether it is the second tail Jinchuriki, the material department, or the wealthy residential area, they are all heavily guarded places. How can it be so easy to break into? You idiots, even if you attract firepower for me, I, Inoue, will take advantage of you to take advantage of the firepower. His purpose of doing all this was just for his own better escape. People are not for themselves, and the earth will die. Raikage office. What? The prison was broken. When fourth Raikage, who was dealing with affairs, heard these words, he suddenly became excited from indifferent. Then, he smashed the desk and broke the window amidst the exclamation of his secretary Azabui. Bye, you don't want to take the opportunity to run away. Will Cloud Shinobi Village be messed up? Fourth Raikage is not worried at all. With a few thieves, it's not that easy. There is only one thing he is worried about. That is the secret weapon of Cloud Shinobi Village. Will his brother, Eight Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee, who is confined in Yunlei Gorge, slip out of the village? Quickly, launch an emergency combat signal and summon all the ninjas in the village. At the same time signal to the gate to close the gate of the village. Also, send a signal to the residential area and let the ninjas evacuate the people there, students. Send troops to guard the medical hospital, and increase troops to the Ministry of Materials, the Dragon Cave, and the wealthy business district. There should not be too many accidents in these places. Also, send troops to the prison area to clean up the mess, and the rest will be divided into 5 directions, southeast, northwest, middle, and the enemy will be wiped out. Even in the absence of Raikage and Cloud Shinobi Village, under the auspices of Raikage Secretary Azabui and the elders, it is enough to quickly respond. Therefore, in just 10 minutes, a considerable number of ninjas have been gathered. And Anbu of Cloud Shinobi Village has already begun to act. They know what their responsibilities are. They were the ones who acted the first time the riots occurred. Detecting, transmitting information, connecting the battlefield, and sniping the enemy are all things they are starting to execute. 5 minutes later, the prison is here. It seems to be late. When Urana and others arrived at the prison, they saw a mess. The prison door was wide open, and there was no one inside, quietly. Swish swish. The next moment, several Anbu teams arrived. Urana, the acting captain, and the other captains looked at each other and made up their minds. A group of people are left to look for ninjas who can be cured, as well as to deal with the internal and security affairs of the prison. Everyone else is tracking the enemy right away. Jinghong, let's go. With such an important combat power as Urana, the acting captain would naturally not let him stay on guard and rescue missions. Summoning technique Hell Butterfly. Acting Captain Yuyan's summoning produced 5 black butterflies and asked them to remember the smell of the prison. Assign 1 to each of the remaining 4 teams, and then pursue the enemy. Is it tracked by smell? It's a powerful method. I will never be targeted by this guy in the future. Urana thought about this scene in her heart. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's inevitable. The people that Urana and their team are tracking are the initiators of all this. Inoue has also. And just far in front of them. Get out of the way, let labor and management get in the way. Inoue is like a simplified version of 4th Hokage. Maintaining the lightning armor mode, transforming into a Tyrannosaurus rampage, invincible vertical and horizontal. The power of each hit was quite terrifying, and the ninjas who tried to stop him from nearby were not opponents at all. The strength gap is too big, come and stop them. When the surrounding ninjas faced Inoue, they thought with difficulty in their hearts. If you don't come, Inoue will really escape. 1,500 meters behind them is the gate. Ha ha ha, no one can stop me from pursuing freedom, get out of here. Inoue yelled violently and smashed the group of ninjas composed of Chunin and Genin with a punch. But when he was about to move on, a thin figure stood in front of him. Won't let you pass, you badass. This is a childish little girl, she may have just graduated, she can't bear to look directly at her with weak strength. But although her face was full of fear, she stood in front of Inoue Yuya with an unusually firm face. Little devil, you want to stop me and die. Facing this scene, Inoue smiled grimly, and blasted the little girl with a fist wrapped in violent thunder and lightning. Danger! The surrounding ninjas all saw this scene with wide-eyed screams, but there was no time for rescue. But just when this girl was about to be smashed into meat sauce by the hideous Inoue, a joking voice suddenly sounded. It's really cold-blooded to be able to deal with a little girl so ruthlessly. When the words fell, a phantom that I saw stood in front of the little girl, with a domineering breath. 6 pillars of flame formation. The person said so. In the next instant, a crimson enchantment rose up, and people would protect it in the future. Boom! Inoue also made this heavy punch, causing the surrounding earth to explode, but the enchantment remained intact, and there was no damage at all. On the contrary, a fiery flame was ejected, and Inoue was also enveloped in it. What? Inoue has something to think about. This enchantment not only has such a strong defense force, but also has the effect of autonomous attack. And the attack power is comparable to the B-class fire style, and the body was burned without notice. Impressive. Seeing this scene with the ninjas around, the little girl couldn't help but exclaim. Asshole! An angry roar came from the horse in the flames. Then, a violent thunder and lightning tore the flames apart. I saw Inoue, who was also covered in lightning armor, and his eyes were red, as terrifying as a fierce beast. In front of him, the scarlet enchantment dispersed, revealing the people inside. Short silver hair, blue eyes, who is not Urana? He said to the little girl behind him, you can still move, get out of here quickly. The next battle is not at the level where you can intervene. When saying this, several more figures fell beside Urana. It was Urana's acting captain and a group of teammates. Sure enough, you are the fastest, Kira. The acting captain sighed with emotion, and looked at Inoue Yuya in front of him, and said, that's it, Inoue has it. Next we will defeat you and send you to prison again for strict detention. Hearing this, Inoue couldn't help but laugh, and said contemptuously, send me to jail. That's a real laugh. Just because of you Anbu's waist. Get out of here. Inoue also yelled violently, as if it collided like a thunder light. Scatter, don't fight him head on, the strength of A-level criminals should not be underestimated. Moreover, he is still a disciple of Lord Hokage, and his fighting style is the same as that of Hokage. There is no chance of winning in a frontal battle. You can restrain him from the side and find a chance to subdue him. The acting captain seemed to be quite familiar with Inoue, and shouted. A-level criminals. The level of strength is between Jonin and elite Jonin levels. Sniping from the side. Humph, I think it's good, do you think I will give you the chance? Inoue heard the words and shouted proudly, knowing how my intelligence is, in front of absolute strength, everything is a joke. Old man Hokage doesn't take the shot personally. Who is my opponent in this Cloud Shinobi village? When the words fell, he who saw him thumped hard, and said sharply, lightning style lei wo explosion. Boom, just like an earthquake, the ground cracked directly, rumbling. A series of thunder and lightning with thick fingers spread to the surroundings, cutting the ground, astonishing. Be careful not to be hit by lightning. The acting captain shouted again, and the Anbu group immediately retreated again. It's just that at the moment when most of them just landed, Inoue has also rushed in front of them, fisted violently, and said grimly, lightning-style thunder dragon roar. With a thunderous sound for 9 days, a huge dragon head flew out of Inoue's arm, knocking several nearby Anbu away. Crack. There are bones cracking and blood flying in the air, but those people don't know the life or death. Boy, take your life. Inoue also twisted his body abruptly, rushing towards Urana like a cannonball, still punching out the same violently. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.